Gather round, we got no gods to please. Saturday night, no sermons, just ease. Discussions flow like midnight breeze. No prophets here, just minds to tease. We talk big bangs and evolution. Question faith with our solution. Stars align in our confusion. Breaking free from old illusion. Join the fun, no need for trust. Dust to dust, we're stardust. No heaven high or hell to fear. Saturday night, we hold it dear. Fun and laugh at myth believers. Here we're all truth seekers. Open hearts and swift deceivers. Make your stand, no hidden levers. Raise your glass to reason's thrill. No ancient text, it's our own will. Debate till dawn, feel dull and chill. Saturday night, we've got the skill. Echoes of a godless choir. Light the world, let's spark the fire. Free our mindset to inspire. No holy walls to take us higher. Join the fun, no need for trust. Dust to dust, we're stardust. No heaven high or hell to fear. Saturday night, we hold it dear. Join the fun, no need for trust. Dust to dust, we're stardust. No heaven high or hell to fear. Saturday night, we hold it dear. Join the fun, no need for trust. Dust to dust, we're stardust. No heaven high or hell to fear. Saturday night, we hold it dear. Fun and laugh at myth believers. Here we're all truth seekers.
Boom.
Here we are.
Oh,
Hello,
wow.
everybody. Welcome to Saturday Night at the Atheists, and we got a bunch of atheists here. We got Top Dog, not just any dog. We've got the Top Dog joining us tonight. We've got Brainless here. We have Simos. We've got Scott, and we have Mike. Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
And atheism is just a religion, you know.
Oh yeah,
That's what I've heard.
yeah. It's a personality. It's a personality cult.
I
Real
just
work.
put my ties
work.
to Richard Dawkins.
Hey, Richard Dawkins, of course.
Yeah. Yep.
And hello, everybody
so
joining
what-
us in the chat. Tilting Windmill and Phantom. Always good to
Ooh,
see
yeah.
you.
Hello, guys. And yeah, when we're gonna start making fun of those fucking religious cunts, because I
Soon.
need that as I've been to church today. So
Let me get my thing out of the way, Dave.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, a guy from a channel called Street Epistemology. I really like him. He's going to be talking to me on Monday at 1 p.m. on my channel, and he's going to run. He's a street epistemologist, and he's going to run the whole thing on me about why I believe in evolution. So I'm making the positive claim that we all came from, common ancestry, and he is going to try to find out why I believe that and whether my beliefs are justified. So I saw him do it to another lady on evolution, and I became interested in it. And I'm interested in this for a number of reasons. One is that we should all think about what our reasons are for the things we believe very deeply. And I don't.
Yeah.
And on both sides of the divide here, I think we're all guilty of not doing that all the time. So anyway, and I have no idea what his position is on anything. So yeah, all I know is he's a real nice guy. We had a good talk. So that's at 1 p.m. Central Time, the One True Zone, on Monday. So, and I posted his channel.
All right.
You really dare to say that's the one true zone when you've got a Brit in our midst?
Well, the only reason is because they named it Central, because it is the center of the cosmos.
Central American time.
The one true zone. Right.
Spoken like a true Christian. I mean, American.
Americans.
That's right. Americans.
Yeah. So, Mike, you say that we should all think deeply about what our reasons behind our beliefs, and you believe that. Would you die for that belief, though, Mike?
Evolution?
Would you die for the belief that you believe we should all investigate deeply our reasons for believing?
Yes.
Right, just to check. It matches Jordan Peterson's definition of belief. Then that's very good.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. It's probably the most. I think what we're doing is really important. Basically, getting at reasonableness and trying to promote some rationality and why the fuck we vote the way we vote. And I think we need it now more than ever. And I'm kind of devoting the end of my life to it. So yeah, I think I'd die for it.
No, I definitely agree that critical thinking is definitely something one should practice and learn about, and try and take forward and expound upon to other people, almost like democracy or something. I don't know. And I hate to use that nasty word with you, Mike, being an American.
What's that?
I hate to use that nasty word, being an American, but of course, it's got to be combined with a full understanding of logic as well, right?
Right.
That's quite important.
Yeah, the most important thing about reason and rationality and critical thinking, the most important thing you learn is that we really don't know if we're doing it right or not. We never know. Okay.
Well,
we're never 100% sure.
Yeah, that's where the 256 types of deductive argument and understanding them really helps, right?
Yep. I mean, the thing is, if you're certain about what you believe, then I don't think you're doing it right.
That's another can of worms. Oh
yeah, it is.
The deeper you dive.
And howdy to Jasper and the trusty ape stopping in. Hello.
Yeah, the deeper you dive there, the deeper you dive there, the more worms you find in your can.
Oh, we've only yet begun. Well, dig into the bottom of the can to see if there's any worms there. Is what we love doing here. And
always worms. We've all got our presuppositional worms.
And I'm waiting for Mike to be on with Bread of Life and debating evolution again.
Well, she will not. She will not respond to me. I've reached out to her on email. She will not talk to me. I'm just a lost cause to her.
She's scared. I think that
she did put my comment up on the screen. I was surprised.
Well, yeah, but then you've got the voice for it. You see, I think there's something to that theory. Mike, on the other hand, he's just a scary intellectual.
Yeah, gravelly old smoker's voice.
Yeah. Dave, your voice is that does things to people. Like
smoking coke.
There have been times when I've been laying in bed at night thinking of your voice, Dave.
I know. I swoon everybody.
And why not? That's what we say.
I said something. I said, my voice is pretty popular when I'm on YouTube. And my wife said, I've always liked your deep voice. And I was like, oh, okay.
I'm a little bit disturbed about Simos laying in bed at night thinking about Dave's voice.
Don't be disturbed. It's only
I'm a
temporary.
little disturbed.
Yeah, I do a bit of vigorous exercise and it all goes away.
Okay. Moving on.
We've had a lot of sirens going on. I don't know what people are doing, but they better behave themselves.
Yeah.
So tonight, the featured video is exposing the demonic origin of naturalistic evolution.
Can't
Because,
wait.
we know that awful evolution creeping in everywhere, just disrupting society, and, cats and dogs living together. Complete anarchy, right?
Complete chaos.
It's good to know how all this got started, and the demonic origin is makes a lot of sense, right? According to this guy.
And we've got Ryaki Mist.
Yes, I don't know how to pronounce
Rise Key Mist. Because sometimes it means something, if you read it just right. But hello, how you doing?
Rishi
Mist.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce that one.
on Discord it's Rishi.
Rishi. Okay. We'll
I've
go
never
with that.
pronounced the name before, so I've only seen it on screen before.
Oh, I see. It's a character in Final Fantasy 14.
Okay.
I thought it was a kind of mushroom.
They say it's fine either way, so we're all good. Hey, and there's another fan of my voice. Hello, John. How you doing this evening?
What the fuck is happening? We don't know.
It's always difficult to tell at the beginning, Mike. And to be honest with you, I feel like I'd have to be about 30 years younger to keep up with it anyway.
So let's see. I try to think of something that was going on, but really, the only thing that's been going on is Bread of Life poking her head out again, and already talked about it last week. And so Mike's got his thing going Monday, and Simos does his show on Monday as well.
Yeah, except it's Monday week.
Onion?
There's no one this time. Next
Okay.
Thursday is the Onion, State of the Onion.
Okay.
Thank you everybody for turning up last week, especially Dave, Mike there. Thank you, and Scott.
And
thank you very much indeed.
State of the Onion is an absolutely excellent conversation. That is a wonderful thing you're doing. I like it.
Thank you. It's a hark back to the early days of our community.
Yeah, cool.
Anyway, yeah, there'll be one Thursday. I'm not sure what the topic is yet. So as usual,
You've had some great topics. Been great conversations there on Thursdays. That's 5 Eastern time for us over here.
yeah. Just please subscribe to my channel and you'll get updates. You just have to ignore all of the Formula One and Daisy. Go ahead, Scott.
One way you could pick a topic is just like pick a bunch of lyrics out of the hat, such as "War, huh? Good God, y'all! What is it good for?" Okay, that's a great topic, and maybe find
it's not a bad topic. Yeah.
some other song lyrics, catchphrases, and stuff. Just throw them in a hat, and there you go. There's a topic.
Ali G actually had an answer to that very question once.
We've got the Johns lining up here. We got another John joining us. Hello, John.
He said, lots of profit and very big explosions. There you go. Just to say.
I'm nodding my head in profound agreement.
Yeah.
That doesn't help, Scott.
Yeah, it doesn't help on StreamYard when I just have my avatar.
I have letters in front of my head. That's cool. I like it. Ooh, letters on my head.
Yeah, you could swap me over. I don't mind letters in front of me. Plus, I've got a dark background, so they'll show
No,
up.
you don't want to. You don't want to see this shit, man.
I noticed you got a camo top on. Is that for fishing?
No,
Doesn't
I
want
don't know where the hell I got this. I like to blend in,
Very warm.
basically. Yeah, I like to blend.
Even indoors.
Yeah.
We'll drop in order in a minute here. So.
Okay,
Oh,
he wants to blend in, and he has got camo on.
I got
what
a
kind of
story.
clothes you got in your house?
Yeah. Well, I got a story. So my friend bought me a T-shirt, a camouflage T-shirt, because I always like to sit in the back. I'm sort of iffy about social groups, and so he got me this camouflage T-shirt that says, "Now you can't see me," for Christmas. And on the second year, he got me one that was camouflage, but it was snowing. It had snowflakes, and it says, "Oh shit, it's snowing." And I was working for Wachovia Bank down in North Carolina, an extremely conservative place, where somebody yelled at me for saying the word atheism at a cubicle, because you don't want to say that too loud down there, right?
Oops.
And I showed up at a meeting with the vice president and a bunch of other people with my "oh shit, it's snowing" shirt. And I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think anything of it at all. But the vice
But
president,
it's a shit. But it's a
he
shit.
wanted to fire me, but I was too good at what I was doing, and he was too amused that he kept saying, "That Bruzak guy, he wore the shirt to the meeting." And I couldn't believe it. But I didn't think anything of it. I just
Brian Nicholson, indeed, a long time. Great to see you stopping by. Hello. Everybody say howdy to Brian.
Howdy.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Howdy, y'all.
Howdy. Oh, hi. Hi, Brian.
All right, so let's dive into it because this should be fun, and I hope everybody thinks so, because I thought it was.
Or scary, probably, depending on which side of the conversation you're on.
Scary.
How gullible you are.
Oops.
Hey, what's going on, guys? So in the public sphere, when you talk about worldviews, when you talk about the culture, there are two pretty dominant worldviews that you can have. One is the evolutionary worldview. The other is the Christian creationism creator worldview. Now,
Wait, are those the only two? Are those the only two?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa! So it's Jeebus or nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeebus or Darwin, I think, is the...
Jeebus or Darwin, yeah.
Yeah.
It's dismissing all the other creation myths, all the other religions, all the other cultures, all the other stories.
Then again, the Christian creation myth is basically a blend of all the other ones that they stole, right?
Yeah, possibly. But to be fair to him, he did say it's either creationism or evolution. And I'm struggling to think of something which doesn't fall into those two categories.
What about the gravity worldview? I mean, my worldview is based on gravity.
Right. Well, it's very down to earth of you.
I mean, if all scientific theories are going to be worldviews, then we got a whole bunch of them, right? Gravity's one of them.
Hello, Ed. We got Ed from the Rabid Atheist here. Good to see you.
Hey, Ed.
Yeah, because like those two categories, one covers supernatural and the other covers natural. So I'm struggling to think that that isn't a true dichotomy. I hate saying that. A dichotomy.
Is this guy going to have the viewpoint that
I don't know what you
everything is evolutionary, like the Big Bang is evolutionary and planet formation is evolutionary? Is everything evolutionary? So therefore, the world,
that's a good point.
Atheist worldview is evolutionary because everything is, but no, evolutionary to most people. Well, I can't say most people, but evolutionary to people who understand things better is typically biological. So
he is going to take this in a new direction that is sort of surprising, a little bit surprising.
Yeah, we can't spoil it, but you go ahead and speculate, and we'll see if you're right.
Yeah, that's a really good point there, Mike. Scott, I really think that's an excellent point. Technically, evolution, of course, is how life explains how life diversified. It's not even the beginning of life, let alone the universe. So, but if you treat it as that supernatural natural dichotomy, then maybe that's more what he's getting at. I think. Steelman him. That's all.
We'll see. I think Mike already took a peek at it. So
I did take a peek. I was horrified.
We won't spoil it for anybody.
These two worldviews are often framed as naturalistic evolution is the neutral, completely scientific, grounded view.
Mike?
A scientific grounded view. That kind of sounds like a positive thing, doesn't it? They have a
Well, yeah.
scientifically grounded view. Yeah. Anyway.
I thought science was a method, though, not a grounding.
Well, yeah, true, but I mean, saying it's scientifically grounded means it's grounded in that methodology, and I kind of like my stuff to be grounded in science. I don't know.
Yeah, I call that empiricism myself, but yes.
But why is he sticking his tongue out like? Is he? No, he isn't. Oh, okay.
He's making fun of you.
He's making fun of us. Right?
It's me. I bring it out.
Yeah.
And creationism is akin to superstition.
Wait.
Okay.
I didn't even hear what you said. I forgot to listen.
Is creationism superstition? I don't know if it's superstition. Is it exactly?
I would say it's grounded in superstition. Yeah.
Grounded in superstition.
Supernatural. In supernatural.
In the supernatural, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Grounded in magic.
Yeah, magic.
And Greg is in here too. Predation and violence are as natural as nature itself. Indeed, but we are supposed to be civilized, though.
In this video, I want to destroy that stronghold. I just want.
Oh, good. I love when they're raised to destroy things. This is what we need.
Destroy. In a short, right? This is a short, like 10 minutes.
Oh, 10, 15 minutes, something like that. But we've gone hours on 6 minutes in a video, so it's kind of relative to the
to how much stupid they spout.
Yeah, sometimes we stop a lot.
I want to tell you that we have been lied to about the origins of naturalistic evolution. And in fact, naturalistic evolution, the original thinkers on this theory were not even real scientists, and they
weren't real scientists.
Right, but what were they?
They were unreal scientists.
Unreal scientists?
Yeah, they didn't wear a white lab coat, so they could not have been scientists.
Yeah, right.
I think that because I believe those kind of people, just like flat earthers, that's basically the criticism or the criteria for you to be a scientist.
Yeah.
But
you got to have machines and super colliders and all that crap to be a real scientist.
If they weren't scientists, where did they come up with the idea? Wait a minute. I think he has an answer for that.
Tell us.
also claim to have gotten their information from spirits.
I'm so confused.
From the devil.
So confused. What's he talking about now?
Oh,
Evolution. The devil whispered in their ears, and that's where we got evolution.
That's where we got it.
They didn't do any science. It just, yeah, I guess the little guy on the shoulder there won over and whispered.
I don't even know what that means anymore. I mean, he's basically just saying everything's supernatural. It may as well be God.
He's going to give us some historical facts, I believe. We'll see.
Oh my God!
And they say, or he's saying that origins, like he means abiogenesis.
Yeah.
No, well, is he talking? No, he's talking about the origins of evolution, right?
Everything.
But it's in their mind. It's abiogenesis.
He's a Christian through and through. So yeah, it's all bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, his stuff had nothing to do with
savior,
spirit, right? Yeah.
And Chris is in the chat. Hello, Chris. And Jester, did I say hi to Jester? If not, hello, Jester. How are you doing?
And Kevin making me laugh again.
Spirits, is he talking about alcohol? Sometimes I wonder.
I got some tequila here and some Bacardi. What?
I did have a little wine with dinner. I don't drink much, but once in a while I have a little bit of wine. And I thought today I have a little bit of wine. I just have a little bit, though.
And I want to prove that to you. So there's this book called The Evolution Handbook. It's a great book. It goes through the history of these different people, these different thinkers, and what's
Have you ever heard of this book, anybody? I didn't bother looking it up. It sounds
I'm going to
I
look
don't
it
hear
up
of books.
yeah, the Evolution Handbook. Yeah, sounds a little suspect right off the bat.
now. Okay, well, it's there.
Interesting is the people that we're going to talk about in this video are not even scientists. They're philosophers who just spend their time theorizing.
Oh, okay. So it is a science book, but he doesn't like that it's a science book.
Doesn't he understand that philosophers philosophize?
Okay,
Oh,
so
you're gonna love what it says on this book. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay.
yeah, well, it's still I'm checking this book out on ChatGPT. It's written by a creationist, the Evolution Handbook. To
Okay,
debunk.
one of
Really?
the little sentences which advertises this book is: browse through this book, and you will soon know more about a far wider range of scientific facts than many scientists are taught. I mean,
His name is
I think that
Farrell.
sums it all in one go. It's not about evolution, and it also teaches you more than the scientists know.
So you don't have to go to college. You can just read that book, and then you know more than anybody else. What?
You'll know more. Okay, he's a retired Seventh-day Adventist lay preacher writing through his imprint, Evolution Facts. And it was released in 2001. It is 600 to 982 pages, depending on the format. Thousands of scientific facts disproving every basic area of evolutionary theory. 1,350 scientific quotations. My goodness, that's a good one. It's a doozy.
Also, it says written for all ages.
For all
Oh.
ages. Oh,
That's
yeah.
Right.
very clever if you can write it for
Yeah.
a 7-year-old as well as a PhD evolutionary biologist.
Oh, why is it
So-
popular in creationist circles? I wonder why it's popular.
Because
It's-
it's bullshit.
Ed says it's a
Yeah.
bargain, less than $7.
Yeah, one stop, claim, depot, whatever.
It's excellent
Parent
for
authority.
schools, excellent for schools, study groups, sermons, and lectures.
Oh boy.
That's a hell of a wide range of people, isn't there? Right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Watch out
Only
for this
written
book.
in simple language for 7th grade.
Watch out. Watch out, anybody, for if they cite this book. Right? Is that what I'm getting? Okay.
7th grade to college. It's written for.
70 to 80% of the paragraphs are partial quotes with surrounding text omitted. A classic sign of quote mining. It has factual errors, out-of-date sources, has no peer review. As a result, scientists routinely classify this book as pseudoscience. It is pseudoscience. Okay.
All right. We got a good one. Okay.
Fantastic.
And, hey, Bond, how you doing? Yeah, written for all ages. Yeah, that's it is cheap though.
So it must have a lot of pictures in it as well. If
That's
it's like
that's a
toddlers and
bonus.
stuff.
Yeah, that's a bonus.
I want to read this quote for you. So, prior to the middle of the 1800s, scientists were researchers who firmly believed that all nature was made by a master designer.
Really?
Well, a lot
I
of
don't
people
think
were
so.
religious, but
No.
different cultures had different ideas on it, though.
Well, the
Hey.
Greeks had some very different ideas about.
Right?
I mean, that's just frankly false. The Darwin wasn't the first to come up with the idea of evolution. That was already around for some time before that. His father or grandfather had some ideas. He was the guy that put the method to it, though. And also, of course, just to say that there was a guy that came up, and I think it was in the 1600s, maybe the 1500s, a guy that came up with the idea of spontaneous generation. So
Yeah.
basically, he did an experiment where he left some hay and some cheese underneath a basket, and when he came back the next day, there was a mouse in there.
Yep.
And he therefore reasoned that mouses must spontaneously evolving baskets with cheese and straw in them. It's the kind of
Sometimes
scientific thinking that was going on before.
Sometimes it seems like mice do spontaneously generate.
Yeah. Also, of course, people had the thought that, when meat rotted, it produced like larvae and bugs and worms and all sorts of. And they thought that obviously came from the meat itself.
Yeah. And they thought that caterpillars and butterflies were two different animals.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there were many ideas floating around besides everybody thought it was creationism.
I'll try to talk as much as possible, John. Kick back and relax.
Dave, read us the
Those
story.
pioneers who laid the foundation of modern science were creationists. They were men of giant intellect who struggled against great odds in carrying on their work. They were hard-working researchers. In contrast, the philosophers sat around hardly stirring from their armchairs and theorized about everything, while the scientists, ignoring them, kept at their work.
What?
Oh.
What were the great odds they struggled against? What great odds did they struggle against?
Also,
I don't know.
back much not. I mean, 1800s for sure. There was a distinction, but of course, going back into like medieval times, at least 1600s, everything was just natural philosophy, and science hadn't even really started. So, it's not true. There were only philosophers doing this work. There was no such thing as a scientist until the modern times, anyway. And when I say modern, I mean 300 years, really.
And we've said it many times, doing science, if it's good science, it doesn't really matter what you believe, Christian or not. If you have a good theory that's been, or good, however.
Yeah. Very good.
Good idea, and it's tested enough to become a theory, then you've pretty much, got a lot of evidence for it already.
And then some people will tell you, yeah, but it's just a theory.
Just a theory. Just a religion.
I was trying to read the chats. I appreciate you, John. And everybody else joining us. Ryan's joining us. Good to see you. All the best folks stopping through.
But a change came about in the 19th century when the philosophers tried to gain control of the scientific endeavor and suppress research and findings that would be unfavorable to their theories. Today's evolutionists vigorously defend unscientific theories they thought up over a century ago.
Okay, wait a minute. So philosophers tried to suppress science? Is his claim?
Oh my goodness! I mean, it just can't be any worse. I just put in there the Christian Francis Bacon, of course, who came up with the Bacon method, which was in the 1600s. It was an early form of the scientific method, at least in the West. It wasn't early compared to obviously the Muslims or Indians or else, but nonetheless.
The powers, behind the scenes are pulling the strings, and they didn't like probably God, and so they had to make evolution. But there's no science for it. There's no science for it. So, Mike, sorry to break it to you, but there's no science behind evolution.
Yeah, but where did the idea come from then? I wonder. We'll find out.
So now I want to read you some of these supposed scientists that were some of the original thinkers on naturalistic evolution. I just want to give you a little spoiler. A lot of these people were before Darwin's time, and even Darwin himself, you'll find out something in this video you didn't even know about him. So, here is the first guy. So, Carl Lynn, 1707 to 1778.
Is that how you pronounce Linnaeus? Carl Linnaeus?
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. Carl Lynn? I don't think so. I think it's Linnaeus. Anyway, okay.
And Linnaeus is that chemistry? Is that the chemistry guy?
No, he did the classification system, the whole tree of life thing that we're used to, and species and all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Carl Lynn was a creationist. He was a scientist who classified immense numbers of living organisms. An earnest creationist saw.
Yeah, he's mispronouncing it. You're right, Mike.
Yeah.
Just saying Carl Lynn, right? Like maybe he was taking notes and looked up and got distracted and forgot to finish the name.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
Or he abbreviated it. I don't know.
No AS. Put the AS back in there.
Well, looking at his early
animal species were a definite category separate from one another. Variation was possible within a species, and there were many subspecies, but there were no crossovers from one species to another. And we have
So was that right? Linnaeus didn't have any species becoming other species?
He didn't. I don't know if he commented on that. There's no. I'd have to see evidence that he actually claimed that. I don't think he did.
No. Now, what claim is this guy trying to support by starting to name basically proto-evolutionary scientists who were, coming up? Those ideas were percolating, so they obviously got things wrong as well as a few things right. What point is he trying to make by doing this approach?
Yeah,
he's trying to what do you call appeal to authority or whatever, naming some creationists that were scientists, I guess.
Yeah.
And no species ever turned into another.
Yeah, no species became another.
There was no first anything kind of thing. It's gradual growth based on the last life form.
So like Carl Linnaeus grew up in a rectory, but he was a scientist, and that's what he devoted his life to, a physician, and he devoted his life to classifying plants, I think. Let's see, he had a doctorate in theology and a few other things, whatever. Anyway, let me fact check him on this. So
we can't get out of our ancestry.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure he's mixing up what he said.
Oh, actually, there you go. That's interesting. Linnaeus is the Latin rendering of his name, and Carlos Alin is his.
Oh, okay.
And a natural name, as it were, or his Swedish name. Or how you pronounce that in Swedish, I have no idea.
Okay. Yeah, so apparently he believed that species were unchanging. So, but he later recognized hybridization. Anyway, it was kind of before evolution. His whole point is the guy was a creationist, and he came up with some brilliant science about, species. So, and he was brilliant, and he did come up with something very important.
There's a lovely quote here by Goethe. All right, with the exception of Shakespeare and Spinoza, I know of no one among the no longer living who has influenced me more strongly. I like it.
No, but like, even if you're stupid as fuck, if you talk enough, you'll say some smart shit.
Yeah.
That's how I sometimes get some stuff right,
Apparently, he had a massive collection of botany. So.
Linnaeus died in 1778, so that was like 100 years before Darwin published, almost. So he, in his early life, he believed that species were fixed, but in his later life, he realized that there could be changes, but he had no concept of evolution, and I don't think hardly anybody did at that time. So anyway, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah, there may be, but apparently it says here that he was responsible for binomial nomenclature.
Yeah.
The modern system of naming organisms is what he's most famous.
Homo and sapiens, the binomial nomenclature. So, You did good work. Great guy.
Amazing.
Yeah, great guy. Yeah.
Heinrich,
Pretty
who
down.
discovered the
Jokes.
first law of thermodynamics. But I want to flip over.
Right, go back again. The fucking
Who?
thermodynamics.
Heinrich that discovered thermodynamics.
Heinrich.
Cool. Heinrich. Okay, Emanuel Swedenborg. He's going to mention him. Let's see, where's Heinrich?
Variation was possible within a species, and there were many subspecies, but there were no crossovers from one species to another. And we have a man by the name of Heinrich who discovered the
Heinrich. That's all he
That's his
says.
first name. We only get the first name.
first law of thermodynamics.
First law of thermodynamics.
Which has nothing to do with what we're talking about in terms of like Darwin and origin of species.
Yeah,
Well, it has to come together somehow.
No, Heinrich is credited. Carnot was credited with the establishing the thermodynamic principles, which evolved into the second law. Thomas Kelvin, the Kelvin scale, and Rudolf Clausius stated both the first and second laws. Nothing about a Heinrich here. Heinrich Rubens, a German physicist. I don't know what he's talking about. So Google doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. So anyway, we'd have to get the book.
We confused AI.
Yeah, we confused AI.
But I want to flip over to these
It don't matter anyway. He's flipping over to something else. So we're all right.
the individuals who were the evolutionists. And I want you guys to hear where they got their information from, where they claim to have got their information from.
All right, here we go. Finally.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay.
Bring it on. This is going to be the exposing
It's
part,
gonna
I
be
think.
Ooh.
Emanuel Swedenborg, 1688 to 1772.
I heard of that guy.
Says he was a do-nothing expert. In his 1734 book, Principia, he theorized that a rapidly rotating nebula formed itself into our solar system of sun and planets. He claimed that he obtained the idea from spirits during a seance.
Huh. Mike?
Okay. Well, he wrote a book called Principia to gather information. Let's see, vortex theory. Let's see, it's still thinking. So, for some reason, ChatGPT got real slow and it's showing you all the thinking it's doing. And I'd rather it just told me the answer like it used to.
Well, I mean, did he get the idea from like a trance or something?
That's my next question. Okay. And that is my next question. So,
do we know who actually discovered the theory of how the planets formed or the solar system formed?
I think it was.
That's got to be fairly recent, isn't it?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, 1800s.
Get his idea from a seance or spirits. We'll see what ChatGPT has to say about that. Okay, maybe he did. Who knows? He could have been. There were a lot of weird fucking people back then, and they happened to be scientists.
Well, isn't the flux capacitor because he hit his head in the shower or something? I mean,
he had spiritual awakening, and he had a spiritual awakening, and I think angels talked to him or something. I don't know.
Well, he got the idea right, though. I mean, you have stars, and then the leftovers kind of form the planets. I mean, that's.
So we can forgive the fact that he was batshit crazy. He did good work, right?
Yeah, if he got that right, I mean, you gotta give it to him if he got it right. Yeah.
Well, brilliance and insanity are two sides of the same coin. Sometimes that's what people sometimes say.
Yeah. So it's got.
I've never experienced the brilliance, but like.
Okay.
There's here that figures like Emanuel Swedenborg or Immanuel Kant proposed models for the solar system's formation from a nebula.
Okay, so Principia was written a decade before Swedenborg ever claimed to talk with spirits. So he kind of went off the deep end in his later years. And let's see, and then he started writing books on theology, but Principia was written before that. let's see, that the spiritual world was open to him, the nighttime vision, and one, he had visions. Obviously, I suspect psychedelics. And
I figured as much.
What did come from the visions? He produced 18 theological volumes, Heaven and Hell, Divine Love and Wisdom, that he explicitly said were based on daily conversations with angels and spirits. These are the writings that Swedenborgians regard as inspired. Principia is not among them. So Swedenborgians is a thing. There's Swedenborgians. I guess that's a cult.
Spooky Bed Hair is in the chat. I heard that Spooky had a birthday this week. Is that true, Spooky?
I heard it was all week. Actually,
it was all. He's got an all-week birthday going on. Well, good, because I've got the perfect thing for you, Spooky.
Rock on, spooky, dance with the night, under the moon, pale, eerie light. Celebrate the chaos, let it roar. Another year, spooky, crave for more. Broken strings, guitar, scream your tune. Something strange under blood red moon. Candles burn low, smoke clouds the sky, but they wish is that spirits fly. Raise your glass, toast the unknown. Laughs of fire, carved in stone. Spooky, may your heart stay raw. May your soul defy the law. Rock on, spooky, dance with the night, under the moon, pale, eerie light. Celebrate the chaos, let it roar. Another year, spooky, crave for more. Pray for more. Pray for more.
Woohoo! Excellent. Spooky.
Happy birthday, Spooky.
Scary individuals.
Birthday, Spooky.
Get us back up on the screen here.
Spooky Bed Hair is the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Significant that the nebula.
Oh, now we're all up here. Let's see which.
Okay, so
there we go.
Before we get into Sweden, but at age 53, he had some kind of visions at an Easter dinner or something, and he believed that Christ had appointed him to receive the information that he wrote in his 18 volumes in the last 28 years of his life. Prior to that, he did a ton of really good science, wide-ranging stuff, astronomy, physiology, came up with the idea of neurons and a bunch of other things. So we can attribute this to him having gone batshit crazy at some point in his life. That happens.
He found drugs.
Could have been a bad mushroom.
Bad mushroom. Yep. I've seen a few of those in my day.
Yeah. Yeah. All best wishes, Spooky. It was yesterday. I hope you have a good birthday weekend.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Spooky. Lots of love.
Hypothesis theory originated from such a source. So this guy, Swedenborg, who came up with this nebula hypothesis theory, says he got the information during a seance from spirits. Now, if you know anything about the law of God, seances and
no, I don't think so. Okay,
Mike,
so
sorry, Mike. Before you go down that road, do you know anything about the law of God?
The lore of God.
Law. L-A-W.
The law.
Yeah,
okay,
the
law.
I think it's the first law of God. Presumably, there's quite a few.
In Merca, we call them laws, not laws. Anyway, no, I don't. I don't. Seances didn't exist yet back then. Table rapping, medium-led seance movement began in the 1840s. It was not a seance. He claimed that Jesus appointed him to hear the word of God, and he wrote it down. So he was a Christian. So what is this guy saying? It was
Satan. It wasn't, right, or a false, maybe it was a false angel or something.
So he's saying a man that wrote 18 volumes on Christian theology and claimed to be saved by Jesus was actually a Satanist. Go on, young man.
Yep.
Go on.
John just said he just harvested, and they are extra really roomy.
Ooh, roomy ones. I like
Very
it.
roomy.
Very roomy.
Witchcraft are exclusively against God's law and tap into the demonic realm.
Well, he didn't. So
What is it? Yeah, he got his visions from angels and Jesus. What is he talking about?
Maybe stretching it a little bit.
I
We'll
guess
see.
Realm of Satan, the realm of the evil one. It's very interesting that this guy Swedenborg claims to have gotten this information from evil spirits.
No, he didn't.
No, it was Jesus,
That it was
wasn't
God
it?
and Jesus. Yep.
Oh,
God
Jesus
and
is
Jesus.
an evil spirit now.
Okay, so in the book Evolution Handbook, seance is never mentioned. So this guy made this shit up about.
It's not in there. Okay.
No, yeah. We got to fact check. We got to connect the dots, man. Let me get my yarn ball.
All right.
Interesting.
We got it pulled up here.
I think I can make
all right.
out in those pins. I think I can make out Swedenborg. Yeah. Okay. You might be right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to another
Let's
one.
move on. Yeah.
Oh my
So another
God.
man by the name
Always
of
a man.
John Baptist Lamorak, he made him
John Baptist Lamorak.
Lamarcky. Lamorak. I don't know what the fuck. It's Lamarck. Anyway, back to Swedenborg. I was wrong. They do claim that he got it in a seance in this book, but it's completely unsupported. He claimed that he obtained the idea from spirits during a seance. It is significant, and he calls him a do-nothing expert. A do-nothing expert. And this guy was asked to chair the mathematical something at some university. He was not a do-nothing expert. He was a actual real good scientist until he went batshit crazy when he's 53. Anyway.
That's one of the things that comes into mind, Topdawg, when I think of this stuff. It's yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's
okay.
It's Jean Baptiste, by the way, just to get that
John
Baptiste.
Baptiste.
So it's not just the last name. He was
Or
mispronounced.
Lamorak, as we like to say.
And
Lamorak,
Dane is in the
Baptist.
chat. I was talking with
Jean
Jane
Baptiste. Sorry, go ahead.
Jean Baptist. All right. Yeah, I was talking with Dane earlier over on Joe's stream. Good to see you, Dane.
Okay.
It says he made himself a name by theorizing. He accomplished little else of significance. He laid the foundation of modern evolutionary theory with the concept of inheritance of acquired characteristics, which was later given the name Lamarckism.
Yeah.
Oh, we got it right that time.
Yeah, you got it right.
All right. Okay.
Oh, that's well done. Well done.
That's what he did. All right. Now, why is that
bad? Yeah.
Yeah. Now, why is it bad? This we need to know. Why was it bad?
1809, he published a book, Philosophy Zoologique, in which he declared that a giraffe got its long neck by stretching it up to reach the higher branches and birds.
Yep. And that was proven wrong.
Yeah.
But it was an idea. I mean, they were trying to explain why they had long necks, and people come up with a bunch of ideas, and then you test the different ideas, and the best one wins out. And stretching your neck isn't how it's done, apparently.
Nope.
Birds who lived in water grew webbed feet. That sounds like science fiction. That doesn't sound like how nature actually works.
Because it isn't.
Yeah.
Hence Darwin. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. He was proven wrong, and a lot of scientists are proven wrong, and that's not always such a bad thing to be proven wrong, because we can kind of put things on the list of this has already been tested and it didn't work, right? And you can keep trying, right? Or you can move on to other things. This apparently was a dead end, and it was a dead end.
Yeah.
But this landmark individual is one of the OGs.
Oh, he's OG. All right.
He's gone back to calling him Landmark now.
Yeah. Or Lamorak. Landmark and Lamorak.
John Baptist. John Baptist.
Limerick.
Spooky's dropping a lot of ghosts in the chat.
Good.
And don't forget, we do have memberships now, and we do have the greatest emojis around, including answers in atheism on toast. You can get this nowhere else, folks. 99 cents is the least I can do them for. That's the YouTube thing, right? But if you want to join in the fun, of course, it's not required to support the channel. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment after the stream is done. That means a lot to us as well, and we really appreciate everybody that comes through, commenting, dropping likes, and all that good stuff. Thank you very much.
And Lamarck did a lot of good work and classification of invertebrates and other species. So he wasn't just, some guy that come up with this dumb theory. He, I'm not sure about uniform.
From a seance.
He advocated a steady state geology based on uniformitarianism, which is often misunderstood as meaning that there were no catastrophic landslides or anything at all. So anyway, he kind of came up with that. So he did a bunch of wonderful work, and then he went blind and died when he was 84. So there we go.
Icarus is here with answers in toast. Well, you know how we feel about toast around here, Icarus?
We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast.
Especially with beans on it.
That's gonna start getting stuck in my head. As I stumble upstairs to make myself a toasted pork sandwich.
Don't forget to appreciate your toaster.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I had someone today tell me that their flatmate has bought Heinz baked beans so they can have beans on toast together.
There you go.
I was impressed.
Somebody's appreciating their toaster. Yeah, you want to have just the right.
Last week.
Yeah, you want to have just the right toast, because if it's not enough, it'll get too soggy. You know what I mean? It has to be just the right amount of toasting on it.
Oh, this is no sloppy joes type thing. You got to do it the right way. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
This Lamarck guy did a bunch of stuff. Oh.
Yeah.
Lamarck did a bunch of stuff. He came up with this idea of complexifying force, that, things evolved from simpler forms and stuff like that. So he had some background stuff for evolution, but his complaint is that his Lamarckian theory sounds like science fiction. So that's his point, that is faulty grounds for evolution. Not so. Go ahead.
So he had a lot of good stuff, but some things he wasn't correct about. And that kind of applies to a lot of scientists, doesn't it?
Especially in the 1700s.
Yeah. Well, of course it's in the 1700s. I mean, creationists don't like the 21st century very much.
Back then, I think computers had like 10 bytes instead of gigabytes. So they didn't have very sophisticated stuff.
Yeah. In early Russia, computer byte back.
Evolution. Let's move on.
All right. Robert, I think it's time to move on, because you blew that one.
Robert Chambers, 1802 to 1883. Another evolution.
Chambers. Roll that back. Robert Chambers?
Hold on.
Sure.
In 1809, he published a book, Philosophy Zoologique, in which he declared that a giraffe got its long neck by stretching it up to reach the higher branches, and birds who lived in water grew webbed feet. That sounds like science fiction. That doesn't sound like how nature actually works. But this landmark individual is one of the OGs.
Love it.
Landmark.
Yeah, he obviously doesn't know about the Greeks either, because there's one of the Greeks also spoke about inherited. ancestry. You know, probably Aristotle, because he did all of that stuff.
Hey, John found a cornflake that looks like Jesus. The bid is up to $300 on eBay. Don't miss your chance on owning this one-of-a-kind miracle. Bid today.
What's Topdawg showing us? Can we just have a quick look at that? That looks interesting. While we're on Lamech, Baptist Lamech.
Oh, is this the idea? Or is this what is really going on?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I just saw a picture. It looked close to the something.
Chambers.
Punctuation versus gradual. I guess that's all about Darwin anyway. So Darwin's theory anyway. Maybe they think punctuated disproves Darwin. I don't know.
Yeah, one looks like it's more linear, and the other one has more branches on it.
Mm. Well, we know it's more like a bush than a tree anyway, so.
Right.
Certainly when I try to, when I think about evolution and creating the next generation, I always go for the bush model myself.
Seems to be the way. Let's check in.
So what's this guy's name we're looking for? This Chambers.
Robert Chambers. Robert Chambers.
It is. Was it Robert? You were right then, yeah.
Yeah, he's a spiritual advisor to Huxley, and he wrote a book on vestiges of creation in I don't know when the fuck it was, 1844, printed 15 years before Origin of Species. So, and ChatGPT will give us more information.
Robert W. Chambers, as opposed to the Strangler in Hyde Park or wherever it was.
Yeah.
Dane found a cloud that looked like a tweaking frog. I cried, then laughed. I like frogs. I like frogs too.
I like frogs.
We like frogs. You know what else we like?
We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast.
Yee.
Okay, so Vince Farrell in Evolution Handbook apparently got this wrong too. He was so the claim is that he was a spiritualist who regularly communicated with spirits. As a result of his contacts, he wrote his first popular evolution book in all of Britain, Vestiges of Creation, 15 years before Darwin. And let's see. So Farrell used this remark to imply that modern evolutionary thought grew out of occult activity. So let's see.
Are we right in thinking this is the Robert W. William Chambers?
I'm not sure which one it was. I haven't quite gone that deep yet. I didn't wiki him. Did you wiki him?
Yeah, I wikied him. I shouldn't have done.
Okay, so Robert Chambers.
Okay.
The typical spelling. So anyway, he started this whole spiritual thing 10 years after he wrote the book, again, like the other guy, right? He only began attending seances and keeping notes on them in the early 1850s, almost a decade after his book appeared. So as a result of his contacts, okay, let's see. So was composed 1841. Yeah, he drew on phrenology, geology, and popular science reading, not seances. So, I mean, there's no evidence that he got his ideas from Satan again. So,
Joe Dirt likes pancakes and French toast. Well, who doesn't? I mean, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Hi, Joe Dirt.
He wrote Vestiges before he ever set foot in a seance room.
Or is it Joe Dirte?
Dirty? Joe
Yeah,
Dirty?
it's from the movie.
Is Joe dirty?
He's dirty. He's a very dirty man. He's got a dirty mind.
Not as dirty as mine.
I know. Everybody thinks that.
On naturalistic evolution. Let's move on, Mr.
We're moving on again.
Quickly.
You lie.
It says,
We keep moving on.
It says Vestiges became an international bestseller. His theme contradicted natural theology, fashionable at the time. So,
okay.
Robert Chambers, 1802 to 1883, another evolutionary thinker. It says he was a spiritualist who regularly communicated with spirits. As a result of his contacts, he wrote the first popular evolution book in all of Britain called Vestiges of Creation.
Lie through your teeth. You lying son of a bitch.
So another one going to seances and then comes out and writes a paper.
No.
I would say something.
No, he wrote the book before he ever went to a seance. So he went to a seance. Another man from the 18th and 19th century who in his old age started seeing fucking spirits in his shower or whatever. So, I mean, it happens all the time. We know what it is. It's called dementia. Okay.
And John wants to know, Joe Dirt, how's the Hemi?
interesting.
Hemi. Ooh, he's got a Hemi.
So it seems to me, just reading through it quickly, that this is yet another one of the gentlemen that was beginning to understand that species change over time.
Yeah.
And therefore, it might be possible that something happens. Of course, like I said ages ago, Darwin was the one that came up with the mechanism. That's why he's the man that gets the idea of evolution right, because he fleshed out the scientific theory. Even if
Darwin did the work.
Yeah. So yeah.
Anyway, we can discount that. He's lying about that. So, well, he's quoting a guy who's lying about it. Who's probably, and that guy is probably quoting another guy who's lying about it. I don't think it's liars all the way down. It's quote mine all the way down.
Yeah.
There's got to be a liar at the bottom.
There's a misunderstanding at the bottom, I think. That's,
yeah, I guess so. Maybe
that. It was printed 15 years before Darwin's book, Origin of the Species. So another individual who published before Darwin, who had naturalistic evolution as his foundation, and this individual claimed to have gotten the information from evil spirits.
You didn't say it was evil.
So Darwin based his theory on the theories of others. There was progression in science.
Evil spirits, right?
I always thought, was it his grandfather? Was it Erasmus Darwin?
Yeah.
Is that right? It was his grandfather. Yeah. So his grandfather also had an idea about evolution as well.
Right. He probably got that idea from evil spirits. We know.
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, let's
face it,
his name was Erasmus. So
there was a lot of ideas.
Sounds evil to me.
Yeah, there were a lot of different ideas going around. And then some of them, guess what? They've got proven not to have the amount of evidence that natural selection had. So that's where it went to. And pointing out the, stretching the necks was wrong. And it's like, yeah, that was wrong. So then we checked that off the list. So it seems more of the same again. Okay, yeah, you have a lot of ideas, and then the best ones win out because they have the most evidence. That's kind of how it goes, right?
Well, it's worth also mentioning that Darwin's voyage on the Beagle was started in 1831, and he didn't publish till 1859, I think. So that time in between him having the idea of evolution was spent doing scientific research and categorizing data in order to show that it was in fact the case that you could morph species, not necessarily species, but you could cause huge changes in populations.
Yeah. And Scott, isn't there something about the modern ideas of ghosts and spirits and a whole bunch of that stuff kind of developed in the 19th century around the time seances came out. And it was sort of a reaction to science.
Yeah, spiritualism.
Yeah. Yeah, so all that shit was going on at the same time you had all these thinkers doing science. And then these people got old and they were extremely poor. Like the first guy you mentioned, Swedenborg, died penniless, I think. They had to bury him in a pauper's grave. And, you know, you could just see that the influence of the whole spirit thing. But I'd heard that, you know, these modern ideas of ghosts and spirits and all that stuff seem to have originated not too many 100 years ago. Prior to that, it was a little weirder. Anyway,
well, it was almost, like, you know, you make a box, you know, and call it a spirit box or something, right?
Yeah.
That stuff was
Ouija
going on,
board.
but there was a lot of scientists and great thinkers, or so-called, that were interested in these things, but
they were trying to find evidence.
Little by little, they figured out the spirit box doesn't do anything, right?
Yeah. They were trying to find evidence for the actual existence of these things, right?
Yeah. So when I've heard other people that were cited belonging to these different organizations, and that's what it was. Yeah, they were checking these things into these things, but then one by one they were dismissing them. Go ahead, Samos.
Yeah. Also, I just had the word on my tip of my tongue, but I can't remember it now. The charlatans that were spiritualists of the 19th century. You know, they arose due to the need of people to see them, right? So after some of these long wars, where large amounts of people,
famines,
especially the First World War, where you know, the death toll was in the millions rather than hundreds of thousands, which previous wars like the Crimean had. Then they, of course, became rampant, and the tricks that they used, the charlatans used, became ever so more sophisticated and entwined with magic. Right? There's some amazing. Again, Darren Brown has a fantastic program on showing the tricks that these charlatans used in order to convince people that spiritualism was true.
Yeah.
And they are just hoaxes. They're obvious hoaxes as well. And it flourishes because there's a lot of people who are in desperate need to talk to people on the other side, you know.
Well, there's a whole group right now scamming senior citizens, and that is the same kind of group that was scamming people back then over the death of loved ones.
That's right.
Those things are popular too. I know Topdawg there sends me links a lot of times with all these kind of far out things, and they're very popular. They get a lot of views even today. When you would think it was 200, 300 years ago. It's still fascinating. Still fascinating people.
There's a like say in the Darren Brown program, what they do is that their team plant in some of the local records about a particular ghost in a place, right, in a particular pub, and they make all this information up about a particular woman that's died at the late 1800s and what she died of and who her relatives were, and they plant all of this into the local libraries and online, etc., in the various places that say that these researchers and scam artists might go. And then they put out an advert of somebody desperately needing help to find and talk to the people in the afterlife at such a place that lives at this place. And, by miracle sense, some of these people come forward and give a reading, which is incredibly close to what the information they've just planted. So, it's an interesting thing at the end of the program where he confronts them and goes, so do you know that we literally put that information there last week? You go, oh, no, it's not. It says she loved chocolate. She loved chocolate. It's down to stupid things like that. It's a wonderful program. Anyway, there you go. Darren
it sounds
Brown.
like an interesting, fun thing to do.
Yeah.
So basically scamming scammers.
Yeah, exactly. And there's another one where he goes to the United States And he talks to people in California that have set up as mediums and things like that. And he uses his cold, like, reading techniques on them. And every single one of them thinks he's going to be the greatest thing in psychic, you know, in the psychic world for the next thing. And he completely scams these people that use exactly the same tricks on other people.
Mm-hmm.
It's wonderful. And
Vic, we're learning all about how Satan is into everything.
I've got to say one more thing about it, right? Which is because it's so fascinating. He gets together and films it in order to convince some religious people that he is a preacher, or his person is a preacher. He gets a group of 20 atheists together in a room and converts 14 of them to Christianity on the spot. How about that?
Yeah.
Ed
and he
says,
makes a video of it and sends it off to these like Baptist evangelical people or whoever. And of course they go, oh, well, we've got to see this. This guy's the greatest thing since sliced bread, you know. Anyway, he deconverts them after the cameras stop rolling, by the way.
Yeah, Ed says, basically this guy got the timeline completely wrong. Yeah, he's mixing it up pretty good.
Sorry, back to the topic. I beg your pardon. We got onto spiritualism, so.
That's all right, yeah. I was just saying hi to Vic joining us. How you doing, Vic? And we're learning how no science is ever done. They just apparently have seances, and then they have these great scientific breakthroughs. I guess it's akin to thumping your head and coming up with the flux capacitor. So all the time in the lab and everything seems to be wasted. You just have to wait for the spirit to come to you, and then you can write a book or a scientific paper or discover a new theory or force of nature, whatever it may be.
Yeah, the interesting thing is Lamarck was a Christian, or not Lamarck, but one of the first guys he mentioned was a creationist, and he came up with these great theories, that were good because he was a creationist and he was a Christian. And now all of these other guys also claim to be Christians and get their ideas from Christ and angels. And he's claiming, no, those guys are Satanists because they came up with the wrong idea, right? So any idea that he goes along with, the guy was obviously a Christian. Any idea that any guy that he doesn't go along with was obviously a Satanist. And he has absolutely no proof that these people had anything to do with evil spirits or Satan. They had to do with the same kind of shit all religious people were thinking about. So does that sum it up?
There's the flux capacitor.
Yeah.
That's what Doc did, right? He hit his head in the shower or something like that. And,
something like that.
Yeah, that's all you need to do, folks. And please don't do that. We're only talking about Minecraft. Just kidding. Ha ha ha. Okay. Let's see.
Okay. So I wanted to read you guys some of those quotes because I want to destroy that stronghold that is so prevalent in our culture that acts like naturalistic evolution has always been this neutral scientific thing. It's not. It never has been, and it still is not to this day. Because when you start with a bad, weak, faulty, just completely shoddy foundation, everything else crumbles. And if you have a naturalistic evolution worldview, you're breaking the first and second law of thermodynamics. You're breaking.
Oh boy.
Nature violates the laws of thermodynamics.
Right.
How's that work?
Nothing of what he's saying follows from anything he ever read, and the stuff he has claimed about what he said, read or whatever, has just been false. It's been a lie. And of course, who is behind all lies? Who's the father of lies?
God.
Is it Santa Claus?
Yeah, but Satan as well. Satan.
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 Yeah,
Satan. So where's this guy coming from?
Nature violates nature. Yeah, it's. I'm stuck on this one. Sorry, I don't know how the natural world goes against the natural laws. So.
That's kind of like me. I violate me. Never mind. That's something different.
And just because humans don't know things about nature doesn't mean nature can't do things that we don't.
Right.
Something like
We
that.
don't understand.
Yeah, that's failing all the way around there. Yeah.
Yeah, like
don't
now
get it at all.
they even found little creatures that can be frozen and defrosted and still live. So yeah,
Rise from the dead.
Not enough string for this one. No.
Maybe that's what happened to Jesus. Did they freeze dry him?
So
Is that how they're going to bring him back? They're going to add water?
Yeah, just add water.
so many laws of nature to even come to the conclusion that naturalistic evolution is possible.
It violates all the laws, Mike.
I know.
I guess it's done and done for.
I got to read that book and find out how.
Every law, it violates them all. It just cannot be because it violates
Why didn't somebody
natural law.
Why didn't somebody tell us?
Well, that's what he's doing. He's spreading the word. He's letting us know. We were not aware of this, so we do appreciate the information.
Well,
But not only that, the thinkers on this theory, some of the OG thinkers claim.
The OG thinkers.
OG.
They're the OG. I'm OG, so I appreciate OG thinkers.
Yeah, well, we have, the OG of OGs with us, Mike.
Mike's here too.
Is everything you say just automatically correct because you're an OG?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
That's why Mike's here.
And that must be right because he's an OG. So
yeah.
But that's also the problem with religion. Like they say, and like things like flat Earth. Like, oh yeah, in the old days they said this, so that must be good. No, that actually the quite opposite. In some certain areas they already knew quite a lot. That's actually quite surprising, like with construction and stuff like that.
Right.
Very impressive what they could build. But no, they did not know everything. We didn't lose knowledge. We build on that knowledge, and now we know more.
Exactly. A great thinker has to be relative to their time, right? You could have been a great thinker in your time, but other things were just, way beyond, even with Darwin, he had no idea about genetics or anything, right? Some of these things are always beyond you, right? But for your time, Haeckel's drawings, he gets a lot of flack, right? The creationists love to talk about Haeckel's drawings. But for the time, the drawings were good enough, and it doesn't matter now. Yeah, and he did other things, right? And then, of course, his idea about what is it, embryonic replication or something like that, where you go through all the cycles of evolution in the embryo. That was proven not to be correct. But once again, though, it doesn't mean everything he did was wrong. And a lot of scientists get proven wrong. And the idea that everybody's in it for just to give everybody a pass, right? No, the other scientists are always saying, well, wait a minute. And then they found out, well, no, your idea isn't so good. So what he's trying to get at is just that, he likes what some scientists say. He doesn't like what other scientists say. And the ones that are like the creationists like to do usually, they're not doing real science if it doesn't align with the Bible, I think is what he's trying to get to.
Yeah, also, he's reading from a book, as we found out, that already has cherry-picked the scientists that he's going to talk about. Not just scientific, but cherry-picked their results as well. And deliberately, of course, misunderstanding exactly how far down the scientific road they got, right? Because as we're saying, Darwin's the one that came up with the mechanism. That's why he gets the credit for it. But another thing to point out here is that, and this is kind of an excuse for this guy, I guess, which is to say, of course, there's no bigger appeal to authority than the appeal to God, right? God done it is the biggest fallacious appeal to authority I've ever fucking heard. And you can't get any bigger, obviously. So I think it's already in a Christian's, certainly somebody who's looking to justify their worldview, already baked into the proposition is that they're going to, rely on appeal to authority as much as they possibly can, because it can't be wrong if it's God, right? So, and you see that all along. Look, this guy's appealing to spirits. Well, there we go, right? So it's got to be wrong because these are evil spirits, right? That's just like a fallacious use of appeal to authority again. So,
and then it goes right. Yeah, and it goes right back around, Simos, because right in the Bible it says you can be deceived by these spirits, right? So then they always, well, I know better. Well, how do you know that you're not being deceived? It says right there in the Bible, you can be deceived. Yeah. So then it comes right back around to, are you sure you're not being deceived, right? Well, you don't know if you're being deceived, right? I mean, that's kind of what it means. You've been deceived.
Yeah, before you go on, Dave, there's an interesting part that comes up along those lines that will emphasize this, but roll it back 5 seconds before you start playing. But first of all, I want to say something about Haeckel. Now, Haeckel's drawings showed something called the phylotypic stage, which is not false. It's not false. He did not make it up. There actually is a stage in embryonic development where fishes look like mice, look like humans. And so he just used, they were printing this by carving wood chips, right? And he just happened to make a few mistakes and take a few concessions when he printed the document. But what he came up with was valid, and we know about it today. And it's a big thing in embryology. It's called the phylotypic stage. I will type it in chat. Anyway, now this guy is going to go on about Satanists.
Possible, but not only that, the thinkers on this theory, some of the OG thinkers claim to have gotten their information from the devil, from spirits. Now, they would not tell you it was the devil, but I'm here to tell you, as a child of God and one who speaks for the King, the Lord of hosts, because I am a Christian, that if you are
the Lord of hosts, the Lord of hosts. Okay. What?
The Lord of hosts. Oh, I don't know what the hell that is. Sounds like some seance kind of shit to me. Okay, but what he just said is that he knows. Okay, they didn't say they were getting information from Satan. They said they were getting information from God, from the spirits, from angels. But he just said that that's where he got his information from God.
He's saying exactly the same thing. Yes, indeed.
Exactly the same thing. Right. He's getting visions from God, telling him that these other people's visions are Satan.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
What voices in whose head are we supposed to listen to?
Yeah.
When I don't think we should be really listening to people who have voices in their head.
Right.
And you are communicating with spirits and doing witchcraft, you are tapping into the demonic realm. God warned the children of Israel so many times.
Right. Are the scientists children of Israel now?
Yeah, I guess so.
Are they paying for the sins of their fathers or something?
I guess so.
Okay. Bible verse, God's wrath, bad scientists. Okay, you're going to get yours, you bad scientists.
About don't commit witchcraft, don't do seances, don't contact mediums, because when you do that, you are contacting the evil one. You're
contacting the evil. How do you know?
No, the only thing the Bible says that I think that they could be referring to is worship no other gods.
Yeah, the magic thing.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, and there's also the classic Witch of Endor or something like that. Suffer no witch to live or something like that.
Yeah, but I communicate with God every Sunday, and last Sunday God told me that this guy is actually getting his information from Satan, that these other guys were getting their information from Satan, so that he can shit on God's beautiful evolution creation. right?
Mm.
So
Ed's got a good point here. And hello, fellow, and hello, Regios in the chat there. Hello. And is this to convince an atheist they are wrong or preaching to the choir? See, that's the thing. We pretty much, when we're hearing these things, we're hitting the Google, and he doesn't even have things right. And we were just speaking about this on another stream, that a lot of creationists are bold enough to cite papers and everything and give you the link in the description because they really think that they won't bother to look anyways. And in most cases, they're right. They're never going to look this stuff up. And if anybody would take just a few moments looking up what he's saying. So, is he trying to convince anybody? Maybe he thinks he is, but is he really? Probably not.
And the other thing that's really important here, and Rebecca is subscribing to this still today, and this guy is, that these people from 250 years ago, they have fuck all to do with evolution today. They have nothing to do with it. No, hardly any student of molecular biology or evolution is going to actually take the time to read Charles Darwin or Lamarck or any of these guys, unless they're into the history of it, right? These things are not central to our theory today. Our theory today has nothing to do with the early ideas. He's talking about history, the evolution of ideas.
That's why they keep on bringing up the 200-year-old people that
he's kind of claiming that, these guys wrote this book 200 years ago, and we read that book and we never thought about it again. We did no more thinking in 200 years at all about it. That's what he's claiming.
Or people didn't move on forward past the, and see and tear that apart, right? That misunderstanding of science, like it's some kind of authority. Again, it is typical Christian thinking, typical God thinking, right? To appeal to somebody who's higher than everybody else and can never be wrong. I mean, that is a classic appeal to authority.
What are they appealing to? Yeah, what are they appealing to? A 2,000-year-old text.
Yeah, and also, I just want to say, they've had a bee in their bonnet about this stuff. Like, certainly Catholics, but basically Christianity's had a bee in its bonnet about this stuff. I mean, since Copernicus, right?
Yeah.
Galileo and Vesalius and, many more people like that, okay? So, I mean, they just can't let it go. They cannot let it go. It's because, as we know, the book that they're trying to justify is at odds with scientific understanding. If you have any kind of literal reading at all, at any point in that book, and that means that it's okay for people to to make it metaphorical meaning. Right, that's what it has to do. It has to become a metaphorical book, and they want to resist that so much because otherwise they've got no truth to stand on. If it's all metaphorical, and we can just interpret it however we like, right, and it becomes very subjective, then what have they got? What have they got left? They've got nothing. So they have to hang on to some kind of literal understanding of it. And ever since the beginning of the 1300s. I mean, Francis Bacon coming up with his Bacon method, or the Muslims, right, coming up with or expanding on Aristotle's theory of induction. There you go, right? Yep. Since the Greeks, that even right from the offset of the New Testament, it was flawed, right? And just people cannot accept that. It's amazing to me. 2,000 years, like you say, Mike, it was flawed the day it was written.
Yeah, and they want to die on that hill. I can't believe it.
Do they ever? Not. They don't want to just die on it. They want to suffer first.
Yeah, suffer and die.
They want to be victims of dying on the hill.
Top Tester in the chat. Hello, Top Tester. Good to see you.
Well, if I had me some nails, and I had me some timbers.
Yeah. I feel like we've just done some unspeakable thing to the rear of some Christians, but never mind.
You're fellowshipping with demons. God
Demons.
warns about that.
That's you,
So,
Mike.
friends,
It's always demons. You know,
Demons.
that's why they said that the idea Joe was covering it. There's this religion that believes Jesus and Satan are going to reconcile someday, and I said, see, wouldn't that be nice? Because maybe we could end all these demon problems that seem to be the cause of everything.
They are. Yeah.
Are they brothers? You ever think of that?
Yeah. Are they brothers?
Oh yeah, the
Well, no. Satan's
good
kind
and
of like
bad thing going. Yeah.
no.
Black
Satan.
hat,
Jesus.
white hat.
Jesus is the rightful heir, and Satan is kind of like Jon Snow. He's a bastard. So, yeah.
Wait,
Isn't that the way?
but isn't Jesus also like a bastard? Like, God
Oh,
was
yeah.
married to Mary.
Yeah, that's right. He was a bastard too.
Well,
Never thought of
he's
that.
a rape. He's a rape child.
Yeah.
He's a child born of rape
Yes.
of a minor, may I add.
Ed
Of a
says you might
minor,
want to
right.
prove demons exist first. Well, Ed, haven't you seen the Exorcist guys doing the things? I mean,
Oh yeah.
people climbing up the wall and lifting out of their chairs, floating around, speaking other languages, and they have all the evidence of it. No, they don't. They can't record anything of these things. They don't document anything. So, but you just got to believe them that these things all do actually happen. So there's.
I watched that documentary that came out in the 60s called The Exorcist, the documentary about pea soup. And
Yeah,
I believe
that's
in demons. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Why is there no
Good
actual
document.
scientific field for that? They have named the demonology for something, but it's never been anything real that I've seen.
Yeah, there's
Scientists are just closed-minded.
Yeah, they are. If they would just to tackle the demons. But as we've seen, though, the people who are casting out demons and fixing people by smacking them in the forehead, when they've got a pain, they run right to the emergency room. So, folks, yeah, that's where you go. Don't get smacked in the forehead. Go to the doctor.
Most of them fly to the emergency room in their private jet.
Yeah, they do.
So I guess there is a little bit of about the demonology. I guess they do have like people that are suffering from actual mental problems and people that have been brainwashed or even faking it and stuff. So it's that part is, I guess, in a sense, real.
Yeah, they're taking advantage of people. Yeah.
But it has nothing to do with demons in the people's minds, like actual entities.
Yeah,
It
you
has
take a
to do with
skid.
the metaphor of the demon. That means just brain problem or something. Or
You take a
mental
person
problem.
that's having a schizophrenic break, and you start talking to them about demons, and promoting that to them, and you're going to end up with a person who is possessed by demons. They're going to believe it very thoroughly. If you victimize somebody with mental illness with this demon bullshit, you will end up creating exactly what you want to create, right? You'll create a demon possessed child. And they've done this over and over again. And it is egregious. It is criminal. And they keep doing it. Yeah.
We know a real life example of that, because Slim has been told that he was a demon and demon child, and he actually started believing that.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, man? Like, how fucked up are you to put those kind of thoughts into a child's mind?
Yeah. Yep.
I thought this myself for a very long time, since I've been looking into the origins of evolution and just looking in the ins and outs of it versus creationism. I've thought for a very long time that this theory has come from the mind of Satan, because the underpinnings.
He's been thinking it for a very long time. Yeah, and he had to look into this evolution thing by looking at some creationist books, and it sounds pretty hokey.
Have a look in the private chat, Scott.
He was convinced, and now he's really convinced. Go ahead.
anti-God, anti-creator, anti-Christian, anti-Christ. The foundation of evolution, it starts that there is no God. Everything about it.
The foundation of evolution is there is no God. I didn't read that part.
Yeah, no.
That's just patently false. Yeah. There are many. In fact, all Catholics apparently have the doctrine that evolution is in fact correct, and that's how God done it, and that's by papal decree. So, and they apologized to Darwin, I think, in 1984. So it's been nearly 40 years since they said they were wrong to Darwin.
Is he the one? Is he going to talk about theistic evolution? I think so. I'm not sure.
You go to a university where the professor heavily believes in evolution. You may even get him making fun of the idea of God.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. No professor would dare do that.
He's watching cheesy Christian movies again with the evil professor that gets up there and you all a bunch of silly people in here believing in God, when obviously a lot of folks in the audience, they're going to school, listening to the professor, probably believe in God, and it doesn't happen. It's just so over the top ridiculous that these, evil atheist professors are out there just preaching instead of doing their jobs, which I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have their jobs very long if they were doing.
Well, no, they wouldn't.
And everything about that theory is against the God of heaven, is against God's dear Son, Jesus Christ, the resurrected Lord and Savior who is at the right hand of God.
Well, again, no, a lot of Christians have reconciled it, that it's how God did it. It's all part of the plan, and it all fits in. Parts of the Bible are not literal. And in the end, most of them put that, to sum up the whole Bible, if you just believe in Jesus and you repent, that's it, right? You really don't have to know all these ins and outs and everything and stuff. If you sincerely believe in your heart, that's all you really need to do.
Yeah. Who's on the left?
Who's on the left of what?
God. The left-hand side of God. Who's on the left?
Well,
I don't know.
Holy Spirit.
Oh, okay, spirit. You can't see him, right? Because he's a spirit. I get it. Okay.
But as a bonus, as I promised before, we're going to look at one more individual in this.
All right, we got bonus material here.
Oh yeah, let's go for it.
Bonus material. All right.
Video. And this individual, you might have heard of him before, is none other than Charles Darwin.
Oh, no, I've never heard of him.
Yeah.
Who's he?
Who's he?
Oh, dear. Don't know. When did Erasmus Darwin live, anyway? When did Erasmus Darwin?
I don't know, but he had to take a deep breath to get into this one. So this is going to be heavy.
Let's take a look at Erasmus.
Darwin, 1809 to 1882. He was born into wealth and able to have a life of ease. He took 2 years of medical school at Edinburgh University, and then he dropped out. This is the only scientific training he ever received.
Yeah, let's cut him down.
He spent time in the bars with his friends, and he barely passed his courses.
Well, I mean, college, well,
okay, sorry. Let me just answer the question since I did pose it live. 1731 to 1802.
Yeah, that was Erasmus Darwin.
Yep. Well, Darwin, though, wasn't it his father pressured him to be a doctor or whatever it was, and he didn't really want to be? Isn't that the real story there?
Something like that. No, to be a preacher because his father didn't.
Oh, to be a preacher. Okay, yeah, okay.
And he didn't really want to, but so he went off on this voyage.
Right. Yeah. Probably why he was hanging out with his buds rather than taking his studies seriously.
I thought he was some kind of was he like I'm not sure, maybe a Quaker or an Anabaptist or something like that. It was some weird sect. It wasn't a standard kind of type thing. Maybe a Methodist. I don't know.
Early life. Let's see.
Darwin had no particular purpose in life, and his father planned to get him a nicely paid job as a minister. Darwin did not object, but an influential relative got him a position as an unpaid naturalist on a ship planning to
It's an unpaid naturalist. Well, you see, that was the problem, and still is today. Scientists, there's always that, they're doing it for the money. A lot of scientists don't make that much money. So sadly, that hasn't changed much. But, if you got passage on a ship, that was worth a lot, right?
Sailed around the world. The Beagle, the voyage lasted from December 1831 to October 1836. It is of interest that after engaging in spiritism, certain men of history have been seized with a deep hatred of God and have been guided to devise evil teachings that have destroyed large.
Wait,
what?
We're still talking about Darwin, right? Darwin, as best as I can find anywhere, said he was agnostic. He never said he was an atheist. He never, in fact, he was kind of upset with God when he lost his daughter. So there's not really that idea of anti-God. This is a false argument they set up. That again, when somebody was pointing out earlier, when it favors them, the scientists are doing good work, right? When it doesn't favor them, the scientists aren't doing good work. And that's one of these things. There's plenty of science for biology and evolution, but they just don't like it. It doesn't matter what it is. So to the extreme, then it must be demonic and lies from the devil themselves.
Yeah, I don't think he ever declared his position on religion. He certainly never called himself an agnostic. And I believe they had several reasons.
I think the wording was something like at best I could be called an agnostic, or some kind of wording like that. Not actually claiming it, but somebody was pressing him for a definition.
So the Beagle voyage was in 1831. His daughter died 20 years later. So when he did his work on natural selection, his daughter wasn't even born yet. So,
and of course you're going to question God if you lose a loved one. A lot of believers do, but they work through it in different ways. But of course you're going to question, those kind of tragedies. It's perfectly natural. It shows that you have emotions, right? Sure.
So anyway, Darwin wrote in a telegram after his daughter died, "My dearest Emma, I pray God Fanny's note may have prepared you. Our poor dear child has had a very short life, but I trust happy, and God only knows what miseries might have been in store for her. God bless her." That's what he wrote. So does that sound like a man who's bitter about God? I don't think so.
One of the things about it is that he was writing to his wife, who was very religious.
Yeah,
I think that's the reason that he didn't come out and renounce religion. His Darwin's bulldog, of course, was Huxley, who had declared himself agnostic.
Yeah.
So there was agnosticism around, and if he'd wanted to say he was an agnostic, I think he probably would have said it very specifically. But again, I don't know the exact thing. My understanding is he never changed his position on Christianity publicly, simply because he was deeply in love with his wife and his family.
So from 1837 to 44, he had early notebooks and letters regarding growing doubts about biblical history. And 1849, he had already stopped going to church, choosing a Sunday walk instead. 1851, Annie dies. And they've shown pious language, but his writings show pious language, but no complaint against God. In his autobiography in 1876, he said, "Disbelief crept over me at a very slow rate. I've never since doubted that my conclusion was correct." So he basically became an atheist as he became a naturalist, I think, is what happened. Had nothing to do with his daughter or spirits. Or seances.
Scott's got to go do some babysitting duty. Have a good evening, Scott, and thanks for stopping by.
Scott was having a back and forth with somebody about truth. We should read that later. Anyway.
Oh, they're going to miss that. They're going to miss Scott in the chat.
They're going to miss Scott.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Got to go play with the grandkids. They're only grandkids for a few years.
Yeah.
There will be grandkids for quite long, but
No,
little grandkids, that's over fast.
Yeah, that's a must for a grandfather, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to be a climbing frame for your grandkids, then you know, I don't know what you're doing getting to old age with kids. I remember climbing all over my grandfather.
We even see that known spiritists such as Sigmund Freud and Adolf Hitler practice this.
Put those two together. How do you put those two together?
Yeah.
That's a hell of a dinner party, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's see, we could put Adolf Hitler together with just about anybody, couldn't we?
And he's still reading. He's reading from this book. I mean, this is not, I don't think this is this guy's like individual thoughts. He's probably just read this book and gone, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that. Because he hasn't had the education, right? So
okay, let's see. I mean, I'm going to check that because I got the book. So
yeah.
Adolf Hitler, Bismarck. Let's see, where's more Hitler?
Bismarck.
Let's see. No, I don't think. Let's see. Adolf Hitler's program of herding. No, he doesn't mention Darwin and Hitler together. So this guy made that part.
No, it was Freud. It was Freud and
Hitler and Sigmund. No, he doesn't. As far as I can tell.
Okay. All right.
Search. Well, let me check again. I'll check just Hitler. Maybe I searched wrong. I think he made that part up. Oh no, he did. No, he's reading it.
Yes, he looked like he was.
In connection with this, we think of such known spiritists as Sigmund Freud and Adolf Hitler. It is not commonly known that Charles Darwin, while a naturalist aboard the Beagle, was initiated into witchcraft in South America by nationals. He's got to go on and read that, I think. Go ahead.
Ooh.
Known that Charles Darwin, while a naturalist on board the Beagle, was initiated into witchcraft in South America by nationals. During horseback travels into the interior, he took part in the witchcraft ceremonies, and as a result, something happened to him.
How do they know that? No evidence.
Darwin now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they're friendly with the natives, when you're, in the area and you want guides and all that kind of stuff, right?
And you go in, and you go in, you sit down with them.
Resupplying the ship,
If they pass you to the peace pipe, you hit the peace pipe, right? Because, that's what you
100%.
do, right?
But now his claim, which he pulls right out of his ass, is that something happened to Darwin during that ceremony. So,
wow, a specific ceremony which isn't mentioned anywhere, right? Yeah.
Nope. We got no evidence.
And even if he did, maybe he had some special tea or something, and had a fun evening. That still doesn't change. The mechanism of natural selection that he put the pieces together with. So again, even if he was, what is it? The albino purple things that you have.
The Cubensis. So South America was kind of the home of the Cubensis. So
that doesn't matter. Okay, I will grant it to you. That he was in some activities and maybe even had some funny tea. I mean, funny.
So I'm asking ChatGPT what the truth of this is, whether he really did this. Okay, the Fuegians of Tierra del Fuego, he met them. So we're searching. So now ChatGPT is searching all of Darwin's letters and diaries and everything we know about this. I love ChatGPT. It can search things so quickly.
Well, that's a part of history, right? When people come in somewhere, they meet with the indigenous, and sometimes it works out good and they hire them for guides and stuff. And other times it turns out bad and they decide to eliminate them. So, or sneeze on them.
Yeah, I once went to a funeral, and the loved one in the family were very religious, so I participated in a satanic Christian rite, talking about the afterlife and all of that at the funeral. And I was very polite. I did not tell them they were full of shit. So apparently, I am also touched by Satan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you're following him.
Whispering in your ear.
Yeah.
Is it whisper in your ear too, Brainless? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I don't know. Must have been him whispering in my ear this this morning when I was in church.
Get me out of here! It burns! It burns!
Okay, there's absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah, and like just some of the wording in some of the songs that they were like so happy about singing. I was like, yes, you're literally singing. You're teaching me not to think. That's basically literally what they were singing. I was like, yes, treat me like a little kid. I will not think. You lead me. Like what? That's basically what they were saying. I was like,
so did he claim? Go ahead.
Yeah, and then I'm also highly empathetic. So yes, that was not a fun morning for me. But yeah, especially not since one of her little grandkids was sitting in front of me. I have a lot of trouble seeing kids
at the bit.
I have a lot of trouble seeing kids cry.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah.
So the truth of the matter is, did he mention Tierra del Fuego, the Yagan tribe? So Darwin did observe the Yagan at close range, and Darwin records that the Yagan had no formal religious practices at all, let alone ceremonies he could join. He says, I quote, "We could never discover that the Fuegans believed in what we should call a god or practiced any religious rites." So there's that. He attended a Protestant church service run by British missionaries in 1835 in Tahiti, and he watched dances, hunting techniques, and craft work from a naturalist perspective. And that's the only record of any contact he had with, well, there's a few other things. Let's see, fossils, where's it? Oh, nothing, yeah, no, okay. There's nothing
about him.
Nothing
about him taking any funny tea or nothing like that?
No, he never attended a seance, and yeah.
No mushrooms?
Yeah, in 17, okay, his son George and a friend Thomas Huxley, did attend one sitting to debunk it, basically a seance. So his friend went to a seance to debunk it, and that was Huxley.
Yeah, and he also sent like his brother or brother-in-law or something as well, and that's one of the things they tried to tie back to the occult, that they was in the occult. I read about this as well, and again, these are one of these organizations that had a bunch of scientists and thinkers and people like Darwin said. You know, he sent his brother, I think it was brother or brother-in-law, to find out what was going on over there and everything. And yeah, as we said earlier, it was they were debunking these things. The people were, coming out with the magic boxes or whatever, and they were putting them to the test. That's what they were doing, which is what you want.
And, I just posted the conclusion was that it's a handful of evolutionary writers came up with this myth, and one of them was this Vance Farrell and a few other people that I put it in chat. So, anyway, fact check.
And upon his return to England, although his health was strangely weakened, he spent the rest of his life working on theories to destroy faith in the Creator.
Oh, he was so evil.
He was.
He was out to destroy everybody's faith. And Ollie's here. Elbows up, Ollie. Good to see you. Hope everything's all right.
Elbows up, Ollie.
Speaking of, how's the smoke there by you, Mike?
I'm just writing that. They, basically, those goddamn Canadians are fighting back finally. They're
Is it
attacking
getting
us.
better?
They're trying to kill us. We're not at 200. We're oscillating between 40 and 100 or something.
Okay.
But yeah, it's bad.
It hasn't really been bad here that I've been able to tell. So
yeah, Trump never counted on them to starting their force on fire and killing us that way.
Yeah.
Canadian revenge.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But we cut your funding, Smokey. You're out of luck.
Yeah, Smokey's looking for a job.
Wait, does anybody still have funding in America? Well,
no.
Besides all the right wing.
That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, they cut funding for long COVID, basically.
They even cut funding for Elon, and that's part of the spat they're having with, which is funny.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Like,
oh yeah,
he thought he was going to be unscathed. He thought he was going to be unscathed, and he got hit too. It was funny.
Yeah,
and like
he's going to leave the astronauts on the space station.
Go ahead, Brainless.
Yeah, no, and like Elon, like he fucking ruined his brand name for Trump, and now he's getting stabbed in the back. Oh fuck! I love seeing Nazis fight each other.
The Mike Pillow guy too. If he would have just done his little thing,
right? He
would have been fine. He recovered. Good for him. He had a problem. He recovered from drugs. Started his pillow company. I mean, Jesus or not. I mean, good for you. I mean, nice little story. And then he got sucked into all this conspiracy garbage. He's broke. A lot of people won't carry his stuff anymore. And now he's in another civil suit. All over a bunch of nonsense. And I feel for him a little bit. He doesn't seem too bright, but bright enough, that he picked himself up and started this company and everything. And it would have been a nice story. And it's kind of got a sad ending. You know what I mean? They bled him dry. They really did.
Really unfortunate that Musk's product was a Tesla, because a Tesla is a goddamn good car. And when you drive a Tesla, my son hasn't been to a gas station for 4 years. He hasn't put any carbon out of his tailpipe into the environment for 4 years. And it's kind of unfortunate, but there are other electric vehicles now that we can buy, and we're going to buy that.
That are better.
Yeah.
That actually are the big problem with Tesla is they use cameras. They use cameras for object detection. Other cars use LiDAR.
Okay.
The cameras see just as much as you see. So if it's foggy, they don't see shit.
But I've driven this thing. It is a wonderful vehicle.
Like the older Teslas that Elon had nothing to do with the design and building and shit that he just put money into. Yeah, those are, and like I gotta say, like they're pretty cars. They're good looking cars, and like
with people retaliating against everything. I mean, it's a market, right? If you don't want to buy one, if you want to sell yours, it's all up to you. But don't go damage anybody's cars. That's not
people
cool.
Who already own one. Yeah,
that's not cool. They bought the car. They've got the car. Leave them alone with the car. Right?
My son bought it.
Maybe you can say like maybe buy a new car, but like don't damage somebody else's property.
Yeah, that's
but
that's never cool. Yeah.
Okay, my son spent $80,000 on this car because he cared about the environment, and right now he couldn't sell it. Right, you can't sell a Tesla right now. So what the hell is he going to do? So leave Tesla owners alone. Go after Musk. Yeah.
Welcome back, Tori, and Minnow is here. Hello, Minnow. Good to see you.
Hello.
Okay, we're gonna sum this guy up here soon.
Yeah, he's about
Darwin
done. I
was
think
initiated into witchcraft on that voyage on the Beagle, and then shortly after that, he dedicated his life.
Jesus Christ.
To formulating theories that destroyed faith in the God of heaven.
God.
My friends, Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through him. He died on your behalf. He resurrected on your behalf.
Resurrected
Hundreds
on
of
your
witnesses saw him.
Oh yeah. Oh, that I like that was in one of the somebody that does like silly religious things while making fun of religion, but like he was inconvenienced for a bit. For
3
your
days.
sins. Yeah. Like he didn't give up anything.
Yeah. Resurrected on your behalf. Great. Okay.
Well, he's very serious. So this is the serious part.
We have written testimony throughout the ages about the resurrected Christ.
Yeah. 500 people that are unnamed. We got it. I heard that.
He now sits at the right hand of God. And he's
sits at the right hand of God. That never made any sense because he is God.
That sounds boring.
Yeah, right. He just sits there for
just sits there, right? Well, he eats Jesus, according to what's his name?
Jesus.
Yeah. What the hell? Dark Matter 2525 does a thing, and Jesus always has a pack of Jesus. Yeah,
Jesus.
He's munching on Jesus and then talking, and trying to get his dad's attention, kind of like Donald Jr.
There's Stephanie stopping through. Yeah, stopping through. Excuse me. We're believing on evolution, Stephanie.
Hello.
Good to see you, Stephanie.
He's so dumb.
He's going to come again one day in judgment. He's not coming again to die for us again. He's coming again to judge the entire world.
Oh.
All those men that we just read will be judged by Jesus. You will be judged by Jesus. I will be judged by Jesus.
You will.
We need to get ready. We need to get
and Jesus will say,
Yeah,
you should have checked your sources.
Yeah, no, but was he not supposed to come back in the lifetime of some people that have already been dead for quite a few years?
2000, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people have claimed that they were Jesus. So, I mean, maybe he did come back and nobody paid any attention.
Yeah. But Jesus is going to sit this guy down and he's going to pull up ChatGPT and he says, let's check your sources.
But this guy here, he knows. I mean, he apparently Jesus told him. So there you go.
And he read a book.
Listening to the next one. Peace.
Peace, brother.
Peace,
God
brother.
help you. God help him.
Peace. He said something decent. He wished peace on the people that watched what he was saying. So,
Yeah. He seems like a decent fellow.
If he wants,
he has a wrong source, but doesn't seem like a particularly hateful person. Yeah.
If you scroll back a little bit, Stephanie, we played a video for the spooky birthday this evening.
Yep.
Missing Mod had a show the other day about Spooky's birthday. So yeah, different folks like us, we get worried about your birthday. You might just get a happy birthday.
I never miss Missing Mod's channel. That's for the information that you can glean.
Okay, so excuse me.
Well,
all right. I need to wet my whistle. All right.
Oh.
So, the exposing the demonic origin of naturalistic evolution seems to be once again the science they don't like because it goes against the Bible. Must be from the demons. But yeah, when it suits them, it's not from the demons. So,
and not only that, Dave, but the demons all weighed in 200 years ago, and they haven't said a goddamn thing about it since. I mean, do we have any modern people that wrote about evolution that were in contact with the spirits? I don't think so. So, anyway,
I don't know. Maybe they need to bust those Ouija boards out and get on it.
They do. Yeah.
They'd have all these new theories if they just played with the Ouija board.
We got to refresh.
So, to go on with the evolution thing, because I couldn't find another demon thing to go along with it. I found these guys.
They are insufferable.
And they're going to talk about if dinosaurs were even real.
The guy on the left is going to pretend to be a skeptic, right? Like he's skeptical about things.
Yeah, sort of.
Today, our guest here is in a place of prominence because people want to know, what does the Bible say about evolution and dinosaurs?
Why?
So welcome to Dinosaurs and Evolution and Jesus.
It doesn't say anything, does it? Doesn't say anything.
Nope,
They
not
didn't know.
much.
They didn't know shit back then. It's a fucking Iron Age. Gee.
Who's the guy on the left? He eats
know.
nuts. They go on about nuts for a long time. So
Yeah, I think I trimmed out that part.
I hope so.
Why evolution and dinosaurs? Aren't they separate topics?
Yeah, but they kind of get, I think people cram them together in some ways.
Really?
Do they?
Yeah.
In some
So when
ways.
you're Googling,
yeah.
you add that phrase?
I don't know.
Dinosaurs and evolution.
I don't know.
But then why are you talking about it?
I don't know. Everybody else is, so he didn't want to be left out.
Yeah.
Let's
Good.
talk
Okay,
about
so let's.
Pastor Joe and Pastor Brad is who we're listening to here. They're both pastors, so. What? What's happening?
Excuse me, I had to sneeze.
Oh. Well,
Something must have blew in the window there. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, I had to sneeze.
It was a demon. Demon.
Or a demon went up my nose. That's what it was. Sandy, hello, good to see you.
Hey, Sandy.
Talk about this.
Which
so
part?
let's start with evolution.
Ooh.
Let's just start there.
Okay.
So just super high level is, you look at evolution, macroevolution, we're talking microevolution, we change all the time, right? Well, that's fine. We're talking macroevolution.
Macro, which means what?
Okay, so changing all the time with microevolution is fine. So you're accepting all the mechanisms of evolution
Yep, I guess so.
to get microevolution, right?
Yep. My mom was a woman, and I changed. She changed. I'm a man, so she changed into, I don't know, whatever. Changing all the time. Anyway,
Okay.
my mom had red hair. I don't know. So I guess we're changing all the time.
All right, we're good with microevolution. So you can take one step, but you can never reach a mile by taking more steps. That's what they're at. So
Really big.
So, but
Oh, I thought you just wanted me to define macro.
No.
It means that over the course of time, species are changing into other species and developing into not just sort of this lower class of organism.
So a moth changing colors to adapt, a lizard getting...
That happens all the time.
Right? That's clearly scientific. That's adaptation within species.
Yes.
You're talking about this is a cat one day,
Yes.
and over 1 billion years, it becomes a frog.
Sure. I think that's backwards, but yeah.
Can we stop there? Can we stop there? Just stop there. I can't get my head around that.
A cat becomes a frog. Yeah.
I think he's confusing it. I think we have a video for this guy, don't we, Dave? I think what he needs to learn is how a toaster, if it can start wiggling its bum, it can become a fish.
We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Dave.
yeah, you have to go through all the stages of different timelines of evolution so you can learn to breathe and wiggle your butt and be a crab so you can have opposable thumbs.
Yeah.
And that's why we love toast.
And I want to point out that we have an example of a species kind of changing into another species. In ring species, there's these salamanders in California, I think, that they go from far northern to far southern, and they can breed with each other everywhere in between, but the two ends cannot create viable offspring. So they are essentially two different species. And so we do have examples of species being developed.
And Wesley, you want to talk about Satan? You're a little late. We just covered the Satan part earlier.
We covered Satan and evolution.
So we're moving on. We're moving on to Yabba Dabba Doo now.
Yeah, we covered Satan and semen all the way. Never mind. That was a different video.
Sure. So that macro level of evolution. Let me start here. Is that opposed to Scripture?
Yes.
Yes. Tell me why.
So. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't know. Don't know.
Yes, it's absolutely opposed to it. I don't know what it is or anything.
Yeah. Whatever you do, don't ask the Catholics though, because they think it's not opposed.
You mean cats can't turn into frogs? Oh man.
Oh, but they can turn the frogs gay. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can turn the frogs gay.
Sorry.
So if I hold my cat underwater, you think that's just torture, do you?
No, that's trying to get it to evolve into a fish.
I want to see you try and do it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it won't set foot near the bathroom anymore.
Ours likes to see the water coming out of the faucet, but it don't want nothing to do with it. It just likes to see it coming out of the faucet. It's very odd.
I just wanted to be an emphatic Christian that's polarized on every topic. Anything you ask me, no. Yes, black and white. It's not in the Bible. No.
Whoa!
I think I have a better...
So is he admitting that he's not gonna change no matter what evidence he gets?
He's clowning around a little bit. Yeah,
he's honest.
He's clowning around a little bit. He's gonna try and give an answer.
Okay, so give me a better answer than that.
Well, Genesis is very clear that God creates things according to species. Repeats it over and over.
No, he's not. He's not clear because it's every part of the book. It says it in a different order. So which one is it?
The Bible tells me so.
Well, there's also a problem. If you think that kind is a type of species, then there's a problem because some of the kinds that they link together are not even the same species.
Right.
So contradictory.
That's why it floats around. I think they floated around the family level because species, corners them too much.
If you go there and highlight it, 5-7 times, he creates according to species, according to species, according to species, according to species. Of their kind, of their kind, of their kind, of their kind. So a cat becoming a frog or a frog becoming a cat would seem to contradict everything the Bible teaches about species.
Okay.
Do you...
Yeah, I agree with you. God created
a lion, like a lion and a tiger coming from one similar creature, and cats coming from that similar creature. That's not as far-fetched as a cat becoming a frog.
Well, and it's clear now, I wasn't aware of this, that the Bible says cats do not become frogs and frogs do not become cats.
That must be Romans, what?
Is that in Romans or something?
2,750 or something, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I missed that one. Okay.
Yeah, you missed that one.
God created an animal and a plant. Oh, I'm sure we will at some point. How about theistic evolution? So theistic evolution is sort of this bend on this. No, yes, it wasn't a Big Bang. There is a creator. Or maybe there was a Big Bang, but it was done by the creator.
The banger was the creator.
Yes.
Simos.
Who did he bang? Who did he bang?
Well, Mary. Mary.
Oh, yeah.
Did he bang? He banged Mary.
Yeah. He banged Mary when she was 14. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that was a big bang.
That's a Frank Turek line too. He goes, "I believe in the Big Bang. I just know who banged it."
Okay. So the thing about theistic evolution, which is going to follow, is pretty goddamn weak. Let's get to it.
So theistic evolution, or some people call it God-guided evolution. So the idea of single-cell organism developing into multi-cell, developing into various species is true, but it's God doing the work. Do you buy that?
Is that, just to try to understand what you're asking, because you're.
I'm not trying to set you up. This.
It was pretty clear that God guides evolution. Yeah.
Right.
Is that like God creating something to look old? Is it in that same train of thought?
No.
Yeah, God is making something look old because he wants you to not believe in him. Like what?
I don't know what he's talking about. He's off track.
Yeah.
No, I think you're jumping ahead.
It's almost like he has.
I think he's talking about deep time.
Yeah.
Remember,
Yeah, he jumped ahead on the script.
Evolution needs deep time.
He's got to look at his notes.
Theistic evolution means that God needed a process.
Oh.
Then I would say no.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Could God choose?
Okay.
Could he choose to use a process?
Apparently not.
I did see a meme today, which should make everybody think, I feel, certainly the Christians. If God made us in his own image, then why are we like invisible?
Yeah.
Why aren't we invisible?
Why aren't we invisible? Good question.
Well, and even if he was visible and he made us in his own image, why are we all different?
And that level there, you see, if you think about a typical Christian's response to that kind of question, they go, oh, that's just ridiculous. That's how we look at these guys talking about evolution, Christians. All right? So missing mod, take note. It's as good as saying, if we're in the image of God, why aren't we invisible?
And Tilting Windmill loves toast. And so do we.
We love toast. We love toast. We
With beans on
love
it.
toast.
With onions and beans.
Toast. We love toast.
With onions, curry powder.
Oh my God. Toast with beans, I don't think so.
Single cell, double cell, triple cell complex. Could
Triple
he choose
cell?
to use a process? Yes. Does he need a process? No.
Based on what Scripture tells us, did he do that?
I mean, what we know from Scripture. So there's a problem there, because
there's already a problem because we know there are these processes. So
okay, so if God chose theistic evolution and God wrote it up in Genesis, how long would Genesis be if he started with single cells and then he went to 2 cells and then 3 cells?
Yeah.
It'd be like the Begat chapter and nobody would read it, right? It would be as bad as the Begat chapter. 1 cell begat 2 cells, begat 3 cells, on and on.
Well,
up to 27 trillion.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the theistic evolutionists are again people that are trying not to buck up against the science because they just start to sound like Hovind or Ken Ham or any of those, and nobody takes them seriously.
And it's a viable idea because if God was a good poet, if God is like omnipotent and so great at figuring everything out, he very easily could have basically set the universe in motion so that it created us. And I think that would make God a good poet rather than one that just said, what the hell, zap, it's there, right? That's bad poetry. So anyway. So it's a valid theological idea, I think, and I don't get very mad at theistic evolutionists. So.
Based on what we know from Scripture, he spoke, and these things happened.
Okay.
But is the intent of the author to describe the how when Moses or David in the Psalm says he spoke or these things happened? Was it intent to be a process or a how answer instead of, so, I don't know, what do you, I think the biblical language that's used is he spoke and things happened.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem with theistic evolution is that, again, God could do that. I think the biggest problem where it cuts against Scripture is that he created male and female in his image. It seems to be at a point he makes.
We're special.
There you go. Okay. Okay, so he created Adam, and then he had to create the female out of a rib But how about the elephants? Were there not male and female elephants that God created? He didn't have to create the female elephant out of a male elephant's rib, did he?
Well, nope. And also that's a mistranslation.
Oh, okay.
The original says a part of him, not a rib.
What?
A part that could be equal parts, but they changed it to rib to have the woman seem less significant.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What about elephants? I mean, did he do the same process with every? Yeah.
That is a very, very good point that you bring up there.
They're looking down and they're saying they're saying
also like, wasn't Adam sad because he saw all the animals having a partner? Wasn't that part of it?
That's what I'm talking about. You look down and you go, hey, God, you gave me this thing here, and you didn't give me the thing for the thing. Everybody else got a thing. I didn't get a thing.
And why did he not get smited for being ungrateful? Because he got life, he got all those animals, and now he also wants a partner.
Yeah. Why do I have a penis, God? God, why do I have a penis?
What is this thing
so he
for?
can stand up, piss against a tree.
And why do Adam and Eve have belly buttons in all the paintings?
Yeah.
And was Bigfoot on Noah's Ark?
Well, Adam's belly button is where they were. Yeah. That's how they got the rib out, through the belly button, Dave.
Through the belly, okay.
From something else. So it's like he doesn't. I don't think Scripture would say he makes male and female from a chimpanzee in his in this generation.
You're actually speaking
from a chimpanzee. Okay.
Yeah, right. He made it from a chimpanzee.
All right. Probably stole a rib from a chimpanzee. Okay.
About making humans, not just in general.
I mean, you could speak of it in general, but I think the biggest problem with that is creating humanity.
Yeah, clearly.
He can't turn a monkey into a human being and go, now that human being is in my image, or now that being is in my image.
I turned it into...
Why not? Why can't he?
Yeah.
I mean, is there some kind of logical... Is it some kind of logical impossibility? Is there a contradiction with God turning a monkey into a Homo sapien?
Well,
I don't think so.
God doesn't really have a form. It's more of a spirit energy thing or whatever, right? So it isn't all of his creation kind of made in his image in a way, right? I mean, made all the plants and animals.
You make it metaphorical enough, of course.
Yeah, the only thing they're really going to bring up, probably, usually at least, is consciousness. But there again, there's some argument about how much animals are actually conscious of their environment. So
yeah,
it could go all around the natural world without a problem.
If you look at the trees, you can see God. So God obviously is made in the tree's image, right?
Yeah, look at the trees. Exactly. That's a popular argument. What happened to that, right? And now it's out the window.
Just look at the window.
Yeah, just look at the window.
Yeah, you can see through the window, just like you can see through God.
Deconverted man stopping through. Good to see a deconverted man.
But why are they saying that God? It would be silly. It's silly to think that God could put a soul into an animal.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, why? Why is that silly?
Oh, wait a minute. What about the talking snake and the talking donkey?
Well, if he can create a universe from nothing, then why can't he do that? It's crazy.
Didn't he do that with the donkey and the snake? Kind of.
There you go.
Put a soul in. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And
larynx, didn't he?
I don't know much about the donkey.
Stephanie's a good sport. I don't know who's talking with Stephanie there, but Stephanie's a good sport.
Deconverted, I think.
Yes, we like having Stephanie stop by. So
why don't I see Stephanie? I don't see her anyway.
Missing mod.
Missing mod.
Oh, that's Stephanie. Okay.
Other. There's more than one Stephanie out there.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that. God made two of them?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
It's impossible.
Yep.
Did he use two ribs?
And then he broke the mold.
Yeah. And he broke the ribs.
Did one of them evolve into the other? Oh.
Yeah.
We're always
changing. We're always changing, brainless.
Yeah, Stephanie's got great streams, and we like Stephanie. We don't agree on stuff, but we were just talking earlier. That's all good. We like talking with people, and we like to have civil discussions. And Mike calls everybody stupid. So
did I call Missing Mod stupid? I'm sorry.
I don't know.
What did you say?
You must have.
Oh, I am so sorry.
There you go.
You must said something really good and really ticked me off. So I don't know. I tend to fly off on the stupid handle.
She said she laughed. It was all good. So
okay, I'm sorry. Right. I apologize.
I say Stephanie's a good sport. We like Stephanie. Oh, she was trolling Jim Bob. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she trolls Jim Bob too. I mean, you gotta love her, right?
Yeah, right. I love that. And I probably misunderstood what you were doing.
Yeah,
you're saying. I'm an asshole.
She has aliases too, FYI. So just saying.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Am I in trouble? Scripture just doesn't read that way.
I don't think. And certainly, if we're creating God's image, does that mean that he became a monkey and then had to transition a monkey into
a... Oh, my God.
God had to be a monkey?
God had to be a monkey in any trend.
Oh, well, God wanted to be a man. Maybe God wanted to find out what it was like to be a monkey. I mean...
Yeah.
It's possible. I don't think why it would be so silly. I mean, I don't agree with it in any way, but... He seems to think it's just too silly for an all-powerful God to do whatever it wants to do, right?
Oh my goodness! How do they even get down that line? I mean, they are joking though, aren't they? With the
I don't know what. Well, they're pretending to be lighthearted about this and be having this banter.
They believe though, and I'm pretty sure they're leaning at least towards young Earth.
Like, no, I mean, God has always been a thinking, loving, rational, independent being. And if we're created in his image, then we
chimpanzees aren't
independent.
Well, there you go.
God is independent,
he's just disproved himself. Let's go through the list again, shall we? And let's look at our history of humanity.
And they're always confusing monkeys with apes. Or apes with monkeys, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Apes don't have tails.
Always rational. Humans have always been rational. I mean,
well, so rational.
never met an unrational human. Irrational.
Nope.
Loving. Always been loving. Never mind 2 world wars and 1 World Cup. May spooky? That's an in-joke for Europeans, by the way.
1 World Cup.
I got the joke. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, Dave. Yeah, so I mean, I'm just saying. Loving.
Beings like him, too. So there's no need for a process. There's no need for any of that.
That's good.
Well, then that brings me back to what I always say then. It doesn't make any sense for God to make us with all the complexities that we have. We could just have a magical smoke or spirit or goo or whatever inside of us.
Right.
Put a skin on. There you go. There's no point in making all these supposed, complex systems. He's just sitting there saying, well, why would God do all these, this is too complex. And it's like, how many times have we talked about God sitting at his workbench with his tweezers, right? Making every blood cell or something, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and why would God make us poop? I mean, for God's sake, he didn't have to do that. He could have just made us spirits, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's
Maybe we're eating the wrong things.
Maybe.
Yeah, so there's plenty of system, and not just biological systems. Yeah, you've got all this, the water cycle, the winds and the currents and the oceans and the temperatures, and there's all these systems going on that I assume they would say God put into place, right? That's why do we have the rain? Well, God put the rain cycle into place, right? Yeah. So this I'm totally not getting the attitude of God wouldn't do it that way. It's like, well, God does things a lot of odd ways in the Bible. So
I have a deep biblical question because I know nothing about the Bible. What does Genesis say about the fall and defecation? So was that one of the things that happened after the fall, or did animals poop before the fall? I don't know.
The interpretation is they were vegetarians because it says later, now you can eat meat.
Well, vegetarians poop a lot.
That's what I was going to say. They got lots of fiber. So
was that part of the fall? Because that sure seems like it should have been.
And then a lot of the species went extinct because all the meat that people had to eat then, right?
Yeah, I think constipation is because of the fall. Everybody was going fine until the fall. Then everybody got backed up. They got all uptight and everything, and put clothes on, and they got all religious like, and the party was over.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Now everybody needs some Metamucil to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I'm doubting this theory. I'm doubting this theory slightly. I think Eve always liked some meat, especially the snake.
Now you're back on track, Simos.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to push theistic evolution aside too. Okay.
Wow, I didn't think.
Let's keep going. You know what's so interesting to me? I was thinking about evolution. I'm sure someone out there will tell me why I'm wrong. Send me an email about it. It's fine. It's great. I want to hear it. But
okay, I'm up to the challenge.
It's not great. You don't.
How old is this video? How old is this video?
2 years. I think it's 22. 3 years, 22. So.
Think you learned anything since then?
I don't know. I sent him a little message on chat just a little while ago that we were covering them. So we'll see if they respond.
Hopefully he's learned that wearing a brown shirt on a brown background is not the easiest thing for a redhead.
Is Captive Desk on coffee? I don't drink coffee. I switched to tea.
I'm on coffee. Lots of it.
I used to drink coffee, but it was pretty tough on my stomach, and I had a few stomach issues here and there, and I've had to watch things that are, tough on the stomach, like real, heavy red meat or coffee and stuff like that. But no, I don't. I had 1 cup of green tea. Do I sound wired up? I don't feel wired up. Mostly I drink my 7-Up, so crisp and clean and no caffeine.
Yeah.
I think my biggest problem with just any idea of evolution is you start with a single cell organism. Well, you start with matter and space, and eventually you get to single cell organism.
I love
it.
Yeah, I love it. Well, actually, you start in matter and space. No, you don't even start with that, mate.
Nope.
You start without space, with singularity.
It has to be, because there can only be one to start. It has to be an asexual being that can reproduce itself.
Yes.
So eventually, to get to multiple species, you have to have out of that.
There you go. It can reproduce itself. We're good.
Yeah. Listen to this shit, though. Listen to what he says. Oh, my God.
At male and female that are evolved into at the exact same time so that they can procreate.
Unfucking believable.
Oh, it's just unbelievable. That's a Kent Hovind thing.
Yeah, what did they do while they were waiting for their junk to develop, right?
Yeah, penis nubs. Okay, that goes back to Jim Bob's theory of penis nubs.
Yeah.
Well, what were penis nubs for before sex? Oh my god. Oh, like yeah, and it's just like
Yeah.
oh, they had to evolve
But-
separately, and like for millions of years they were just waiting around to be, to find each other, and it's like, ooh, that feels good.
They need to learn how populations are the key to evolution.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they don't quite understand. Well, they don't understand where males and females come from to begin with. I mean, if they knew a little bit about biology and medicine, they know
and
the
they're
answer.
taking.
Yeah, but also
Go ahead.
Also, like if they don't have to evolve at the same time, because like you have
the
like
same species.
what they call microevolution. Like there is a slow transition, and like over a long time, yes, those two species will not be able to mate anymore, but everything in between, or a lot of those in between, can, as we said about the lizards, that go around a lake, and when they come together again, like those two groups can't mate, but they can still mate with everything in between.
Right. What he just said is that males and females were separate species, basically. Like they were two different species that had to evolve separately as males and as females, and then all of a sudden they had sex. It's like that is so ignorant that we should shut this goddamn video off right here.
Yeah, no, but also that shows that they do not see women as the same as them.
Right. Yeah, they see them as a different
because
species.
like if you see a woman as your equal, as what they are, the same species, the same, is equal to you, just have different fun bits. Yeah, then you would not come to this stupid conclusion.
Yeah.
Holy.
Well, back when I was when I was on a lot of drugs, I came up with a theory, and I suddenly realized that females were different. They were from Venus, and they were a superior race that came down here and they enslaved us, and they installed these balls and penis on us, and every time they come around, the penis stands up. It's an antenna, and it's receiving brain vibes from the female species controlling us. So what you need to do is wear tinfoil underwear so that your penis does not stand up when they come around. Pretty simple, right?
Right.
Like, okay, if you doubt that they're a different species, have you ever seen one of them naked? They don't look anything like us. They're very different.
And they're taking it literal that there has to be this first cell that became everything without conceiving that all of this life was going on all over the seas, right? It has to be this one, and it was waiting for another one. Well, there was probably trillions of them around it. That isn't the thing that it's okay. The first one became the second one, became the third one. Thinking is completely leaving out the idea that this happened all. It seems as soon as liquid water was on the planet, life took off all over. They're finding the microscopic fossils everywhere. So it wasn't, the literal one little puddle, right? It was all over the place.
Lots of puddles. Yeah, he's going to say three. He's going to say 3 cells here somewhere, isn't he? Go ahead.
Maybe.
No, billions of years is not long enough.
I mean, I don't know how you measure billions of years.
I don't know. Let's talk about dinosaurs.
Let's talk about.
I don't know how you measure billions of years.
Right.
Maybe look it up.
I don't know.
The concept of a year is a tricky thing sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Okay.
Well, they can conceive of a year, but they can't conceive of more than a year. Because,
billions of years.
Yeah. One step is okay. The microevolution. One step is okay, but you can't have 10, 20, or 50. So.
That's right. That's right.
It's interesting.
It's a joke.
Oh my goodness, you just blew up the internet.
How can you?
You did.
Oh dear.
Well, I hope so. I hope this video blows up. Did you hear that, everybody? We're going to blow up the internet retroactively.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. I like the internet. I like the internet. It's like if there's no internet, how am I going to watch my porn? What? Never mind.
If it's a joke, it wasn't very funny.
How can you tell me that your methodology works? Science says you have to be able to observe something and repeat something. You can't observe, oh, we carbon dated that to be 1 billion years old. You can't prove that. You weren't.
Well,
you weren't there. He's going to say it. He's going to say you weren't there.
It doesn't work to that age in the first place. And understanding how something works was revolutionary discoveries. The decay rates were, a new discovery, and it helped to date things. And so far, it seems to be in line with things of known ages that can be compared to, and the dating methods are used against each other. So they don't use just one; they use multiple dating methods. And if they're coming within the same answers, that's even more evidence that it must work. Because if they were both just doing it at whatever random rates, they wouldn't come out with similar numbers.
And also, like when he says, carbon dating, they do carbon dating. That is the observation. That's literally the observation. So you weren't there. It just shows a complete level of ignorance beyond. You may as well be talking to the brick wall behind him. To be frank, it's quite a good background now. I think about it.
It's probably a fake brick wall. You know, Americans don't know how to build with bricks.
Yeah.
It's probably wallpaper.
I'm just saying, the difference between him and the brick wall is very small.
Are you saying the backsplash behind my sink is not real brickwork?
No. I've seen some of those damn castles you guys make over there. They ain't worth shit either. They're all falling down. It's all falling out.
They barely lasted 1,000 years, some of them.
Yeah.
No, but also like with all the dating methods. Yeah, like some people have we asked them to date this rock that we knew came from this volcano at that time, but like they said it would have been in a totally different age range, so they used the wrong kind of dating method. It's kind of stupid, but because every dating method has its own range. But
If you wanna get your mind around big numbers, if you go to a beach on an ocean, the sands that you can see on the surface, there's about 1 trillion grains out there. So if you want to get an idea what 1 trillion looks like, it's like look across, a beach.
Ooh.
And you're looking at about 1 trillion.
Oh, speaking of putting stuff like that in perspective, I've got a very good video somewhere that shows you a visualization of how much money Elon Musk has or had.
Oh my God! Oh no!
It's a shocking video. I'll drop that in the Discord later. Like that actually, I think, like you think it's a lot, but it's more than you think.
Yeah.
Well,
they're a billion years ago.
Interesting. That it's interesting, and it's interesting the whole conversation about this with science, because I would be all for believing in macro evolution if someone could show it to me, because good science is good science.
Like, and you and I have said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try reading a book once in a while. Oh no, you already do.
Wrong book.
But they only read the good book.
We should have started there. We think that good Bible and good science exist together.
Always allies. They're not enemies at all.
Always.
So it's like
always allies. Yeah, always.
So I just see a good video
stripes on animals.
Of the one good Bible. That's the Bible on the barbecue.
Oh dear.
You're saying something about evidence. We have all the hybrids, or animal hybrids.
Yeah.
In real life, modern.
They misjudged how tasty the pig was as well, didn't they?
Yeah. Hey, HiveSci, how you doing? And do you know what I mean? Do they have to come back in as somebody else or something? I hope nobody's giving anybody a hard time. We're here having a good time, so
who got?
I don't know. I don't know something. As long as everything's fine, okay. Because we want everybody to have a good time. These guys have been laughing plenty, so I mean, we're chiming right in.
Yeah, we gotta have a wider margin here because we're giving them a lot of shit on Snata, so we need to have a wider margin for our chat people. I think, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let them pick on us a little bit.
Everybody's welcome in the chat. We don't have any rules here other than the obvious. So
be nice.
Everybody's welcome. Yeah.
Someone could show me the actual sort of outworking scientifically of every, the single cell becoming a double cell, becoming a triple cell, becoming a monkey.
Okay, stop.
What? You mean that's not the theory of evolution, Mike?
No, that's not the fucking theory of evolution. There's no goddamn like one of them says, one of these guys recently said, why aren't there any example of 4-celled animals and 5-celled animals and 6 all? And it's like, okay, when cells started sticking together, they didn't just like count up 1, 2, 3, right? There was a glob of them, right? And that's how the first multicellular animals formed. It was a glob, probably hundreds of cells. It had nothing to do with 1, 2, 3 cells. And that just shows how little these guys have actually thought about evolution. So it's a sore spot, real sore spot with me, 3 cells.
Yeah.
Oh, and there are 3-celled animals, by the way. I think there are some 3-celled animals out there, but that's a whole different story.
Yeah, I looked it up there. I think there are some 4 or 5 cell.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, some small amount.
Yeah, there's a couple of them on screen.
yeah, right. Brain cell, yeah.
Becoming us. If I could see that scientifically instead of believing it as a hypothesis, because the current view remains a hypothesis. There's not repeatable, provable hypothesis that gets tested, proven in the lab over and over and over again, which I think is called science.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
You think that's called science, but then you'd be wrong, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Hello, Gio. Good to see you. And Mike was talking about this before when they're saying, a line of evidence for evolution. There's so many lines of evidence for evolution. That's one of the powers of why it's so well supported is not just within biology, but other fields as well come back with, hey, yeah, this and this lines up, and other fields converge with it, and that makes the theory even stronger. So you don't have conflicts with other fields either.
And I wanted to...
There's more lines of evidence for evolution than Keith Richards has had.
Okay, so he said, if I could see it scientifically, okay, what does that mean? That doesn't mean that you actually see it before your eyes. Like, you don't see stars form scientifically, right? You don't look at them and see it. To see it scientifically, you have to understand the science, and then you can see the steps, and then you can make inferences about how it happened, right? Like, for instance, how wood burns. What is a flame? What is that smoke? What is all that stuff? Well, you can't see it scientifically because you can't magnify those flames and figure out every mechanism. You have to do all kinds of tests. You have to know the science, and then you infer what is happening. That's what he's missing. So because he refuses to read the science and read about actual evolution, that's why he doesn't believe in it. That's simple.
Well, what he's hitting at is that you can't take a single cell and make a primate in the lab.
Yeah, right.
because he wants to. Yeah, I want to see a single cell in this dish, and now I want to see it make 2 cells, and I want 3 and 4, and I want it to, become organized and have systems, and then start growing limbs and the whole thing. And he wants every one of those steps shown to him in the lab. And this goes back to where they always kind of go. They're just going to keep asking questions until you say, "Well, we don't know that yet," right? So, go ahead, Brandon.
So how many years does he have?
Right, 4 billion. Yeah. And how many dishes does he have in the laboratory? How many dishes and how many years? So you would have to have like 10 to the 30th different dishes. And you'd have to have 4 billion years, and then maybe you'd see it if you did that. If you had a lot of patience, so I'm guessing that gummies would help with that. I'm not sure.
And what we've seen a lot in these, that observation is misused. That creationists say science says it has to be observed. In other words, you have to be able to see it in real time, which observe can mean many things, including, the inference because of the data that you have collected, and that has gone through the scientific method. So they're doing an end around, or whatever you want to call it, that it didn't go through the scientific method of they didn't take 1 cell and make a primate. That's what they're trying to say, hasn't gone through the scientific method. But what we have is evidence that, like Mike said, the cells group together, and then we have a fossil record. You have simple life becoming more complex.
Right,
and we know can deny it, but it's laid out in the rocks all the way down to the microscopic level.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm studying is how those cells stick together and how those early proteins evolved to make 2 cells stick together, and then 100 cells, and on and on. So, I mean, you have to know about that. When you know about that, that is seeing it scientifically. See it scientifically does not mean literally fucking seeing it evolve over time, Can
I just point out, I've never seen the dust of the earth turn into a human being.
No, that too.
So, I mean, I've never seen that. So how can you possibly believe that could happen?
I've never seen the earth revolve around the sun.
Not scientific. The Bible is not scientific. Never seen that. Never seen the dust of the earth turn into a human being.
No magic zoo boats.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there are many other things, but if we're talking about, species being formed, So what's more likely?
So it's like,
what's more likely? We evolved from primates because we are primates, or we came straight from the dust of the earth?
Well, yeah, it's absolutely silly that we could have evolved, but it's not silly at all that we were just made kind of like a clay figurine out of the dirt, and then it got blown onto, and then it became alive. That of course isn't silly at all.
How come my garden, when I wake up, doesn't have human beings lying in it?
Yeah. You didn't breathe on them right.
Well, there you go. God's everywhere. He must be breathing everywhere. So.
Well, yeah, that's true. They should be coming to life, huh?
Oh, yeah. I should plant flowers, and the next day there should be a beautiful human being, a man, obviously, sitting in my garden bed, going,
maybe tomorrow.
Shit, it's happened again. Can I have an apple, please? Because I really want a woman.
Yeah. Geo Sam has a good comment. If we're made of clay, why are we carbon-based?
There you go. Yeah.
Dust of the earth, mate. Dust of the earth. It's not clay. Clay is the Quran, I think.
Yeah, dust of the earth is not carbon.
It's hard.
Oh, carbon dating. Here we go.
There we go. Think of carbon dating.
Brilliant.
I want to be able to prove it, repeat it. Like, here's my hypothesis about carbon dating.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be able to prove it in a lab over and over and over again, and therefore my theory becomes fact, not a hypothesis.
That's been done.
We're fans of
been done.
It's become a law. It's a law in physics. It's called the nuclear decay rate.
Yep.
Because it's been repeatedly tested and it's always the same. So
That's correct.
it's a law. So it
And
did
he's going
that.
to show his. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
He's going to show his ignorance in a second here.
Again?
Again. Yeah.
We're fans of
Yes,
good science.
good science.
Good
Yeah.
science. We're fans of good
Okay, let's
science.
talk about dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
We got to
We
go to
just don't know what
dinosaurs.
the fuck it
Why
looks
go
like.
from theistic evolution and carbon dating to dinosaurs?
Listen,
This
these
is
are
I tell
the
you,
questions
these guys-
that
the
people
people
are
have.
asking.
These guys are as much fans of science as I'm fans of like American football.
Right. Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, and I gotta say, those
I fucking
the
hate
women
sports.
are fantastic. I mean, that's some of the best sport I've ever seen.
Hmm.
When the women play that.
No comment.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't have to.
Yeah.
I could have chosen a whole number of other sports, but that seemed to be the most contentious. And I do remember.
Where
them
are the
playing.
dinosaurs?
Yes. Are dinosaurs in the Bible?
Where are they, dinosaurs? Yeah.
Nope.
Oh,
Oh,
just
they're not.
you are emphatic.
I am.
Nope.
Nope.
That's
Are
good.
these
Nope,
nuts
they aren't.
delicious?
So what
Yes.
happened
Yes,
to
they
them?
are.
They are.
That I can.
Oh, he does go back in the nuts.
Back to the nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened to the dinosaurs then? If they're not in the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's weird, isn't it? 6,000-year-old Earth. And there's no mention of the massive beast walking around.
Can say empirically.
You should eat more of them.
I'm gonna have again an allergic reaction.
Okay, dinosaurs. Are we in agreement that all beings that have ever been on the earth were created in the Genesis narrative, not pre any of that?
I don't know.
Like, so
You don't know?
Yeah. You don't. Oh no.
You
I don't
don't know?
I
That's
don't
like
know.
in the beginning. I mean, you only have to read 2 sentences in the fucking book. It's not a lot to ask, though, is it, really?
Is it the beginning or not the beginning?
Yeah.
Oh, dear, oh, dear.
God, if
Guys.
let's assume for a moment.
Where are you going?
Let's assume for a moment that dinosaurs existed.
I thought that guy there was a bit of an idiot. But this guy is just tops him.
God
Yeah, he's
created
pretending-
those as
He's pretending he doesn't understand where he's going to go with this, and
Yeah.
we all know where he's going with this. So.
as part of his creation of animals and life in Genesis 1. Yes?
All life was created by God.
Okay.
Is that?
Yeah.
So if dinosaurs were
Yeah,
alive,
were
they
you
created
there?
by God.
Did you
No.
did you see that? Were you there? How do you
Yeah.
know
I'm being
that?
really non-committal in that. I'm trying to figure out what you're doing. Nothing existed prior to Genesis 1. In the beginning, God, and God only.
Yes.
Okay. Nothing existed except God and whatever the waters were he was hovering over.
Oh, goddamn! Ah, the waters.
Oh yeah, there's that.
Waters, the
Yeah,
waters were
pesky
there.
Waters. Yeah, yeah.
The waters were there.
Yeah.
It's only because he'd been out on the piss the night before.
And then he creates after
Yes. Agreed.
Okay.
Completely agree that he speaks and things come into motion. So it's not
Yeah,
like
that's Genesis.
we could have dinosaurs before Genesis 1. Like,
Yeah.
No.
that. So there's this theory
Yeah,
out there.
That's ridiculous, isn't
Okay.
it? Oh, that's ridiculous.
So
Dinosaurs. before
That's lining
Genesis.
right up with YEC. Man and dinosaurs had to
Of
be
course it
together.
is. Yeah,
That
always does.
dinosaurs, in fact, didn't exist.
Okay. How would we have Jurassic Park? Then?
But,
Oh, there you
Oh.
go. He makes a good point, actually. How
Yeah,
would we
good
have
point.
Jurassic Park?
I don't know.
How would we have a film called Jurassic Park if there would be no dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Where'd
does
they
it
get-
stay in
where'd they get that-
Genesis?
Where'd they
I
get that
don't know.
idea from?
I don't know. There's a theory that dinosaurs didn't actually exist, but that God created a working universe. Because we haven't seen dinosaurs, right? So we're relying on a fossil record. So there's this theory that God created a working universe, and part of that was he made the universe, you mentioned earlier, to look old, which means he put bones in the ground.
There you go.
Right. Okay, do a little more. And let's see why he put.
You want to know why? Scientists, do you want to know why? Oh, they're going to tell you why. Here you go.
And some people go, "Oh, is he trying to trick us?" No, that's actually part of an ecosystem that fertilizes soil. Is
right. Okay. That's why. Okay. Now, fossils, which are made of fucking minerals, are in the ground looking like fossils to create an ecosystem to fertilize the ground. It's obvious. That's why he did it.
He created a bunch of dinosaur bodies and buried them and let them rot to fertilize the ground, just like my neighbor used to with the fish heads when he got done fishing, right? He'd plant them around the tomatoes. It did a heck of a job.
It's worse than that, Dave. He created them as fossils.
Yeah,
put them in the ground.
He put the bones
they're useless.
in the ground
They're useless.
He didn't say that,
right? It's even worse than that, because as Frank Zappa wrote in a song, first he created the dinosaurs, then he created the Arabs, and then he created Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah.
They all follow each other as night follows day.
Yep.
And people thinking,
right?
Oh, sorry.
So some have suggested that God placed those there, and dinosaurs never really were on the earth.
What would be
your thoughts?
What would be the reason why I would have?
I'm an idiot.
Okay, Topdawg, what were you going to say?
People confusing dinosaur fossils, oil fossils or fossil fuels for old dinosaurs or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a joke that Zappa was making, and it was more to do with the the period, isn't it? When dinosaurs alive.
Yeah.
250 million or something. Yeah. But anyway, it's a joke that Zappa made.
Oil's found way below that layer too, right?
Yeah, well, that's something interesting.
I didn't know.
We get fossil fuels partly because the Carboniferous had so much plant material because we didn't have things yet breaking it down like Mike's favorite. That was a big part of why we don't have those big deposits anymore, is things are breaking it down. So more species became
I see.
Adept at digesting all the stuff that had just fallen on the ground. Otherwise, we'd be, literally buried alive in all the leaves and everything else if we didn't have stuff breaking it all down.
And it was like in swamps or something where it was mostly concentrated.
Yep,
where they
there was just so much of it.
Swamps.
Yep. So that's part of the system balancing itself out, right? Just like they're finding these bacteria now that are trying to digest microplastics because it's laying there and they're like, I wonder if I could eat it, right? Yeah.
Yep, it's their environment. So if they don't have the food that they normally eat or something, the ones that are going to survive are the ones that had that gene that had that capability.
Yep.
Because that's what repopulates.
Little buggers just might save our own rear ends, yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing, just to finish that joke off, is that, of course, God's chosen people were given the only piece of land in that region without oil.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. Yeah, that's always a classic. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
To prove whether dinosaurs were on the earth or not.
It's interesting.
Well, but
no, it's not. It's really kind of dumb. I mean, are all the bones in the ground just to fool us type argument? I mean, it's even Ken Ham doesn't buy into that. So.
Yeah, I think he has a very low bar for the word interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
so. Let me back up. The evidence for the working. I should have said this. Let me give you the evidence for a working old looking universe. Right? God didn't make. Adam.
So wait. You're saying that he did this to make it old, and it had the byproduct was it fertilized the earth, even if it wasn't.
Yeah. I guess I'm saying that because I don't think it was God who's just trying to trick us or whatever. Like, what's this?
Yeah.
Okay. The reason people would say that he created a working universe is, for example, Adam and Eve weren't created as babies.
Let's face it, it wouldn't be very difficult to trick these two, though, if you were a god.
No.
I mean, again, low bar Bill would be able to do this.
Yeah, a trickster god, man. God's just having fun with us. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason they made gummy worms is because they're nutritious and they have sugar in them, and they weren't trying to trick us into thinking they were worms, but they're nutritious. So therefore, he wasn't trying to trick us. Is that because the fossils look like fossils? They don't look like bags of fertilizer.
No. Why not just use bags of fertilizer? I mean,
right. Just
go down to the store, get some Scott's brand, and spread that shit out.
Yeah.
Literally.
Little 10-10-10.
Hey, let me tell you what, little Dookie does your garden a world of good. Let me tell you, it's I'm all for it.
They didn't come out of a womb. They weren't infants, right? They were some ability to care for themselves. So we have to assume they were of some age, right? And it seems like even the way he does plants and animals and stuff, it's not just he.
Okay, so there was no baby dinosaurs. They were created full-size dinosaurs.
I don't know if you know this, but some animals come out of the womb able to stand and take very little time to become self-sufficient.
A few minutes. Takes them a few minutes, but they do it.
Yeah, they got to get moving or their dinner.
He makes chickens. He doesn't just make an egg, right? And so it's like he creates things that are working.
Thank you. I think he's just answered one of the all-time.
The chicken came first.
The chicken and the egg. Yeah.
Folks, only here at Saturday Night at the Atheist have we resolved the age-old question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Here you go. God made the chicken and the egg.
First, yeah, he made it. He made the chicken first. That's the main.
Made the chicken first.
Chicken laid the egg.
Yeah.
Could make the egg that God made too, but it would be silly that God would intervene with some kind of system like reproduction.
Yeah.
And start something working.
Oh, and using that same thought to the whole planet.
Yes, correct.
That the planet was actually working.
Correct. What do you think about that theory?
I don't.
What came first, guys? Sorry, let me just ask this question to the fan.
The planet or the
the chicken or the planet?
Yeah, the chicken or the planet. There we go.
Yeah, the chicken, obviously.
Was the chicken fried? Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
It sounds a little brute force. You know, if you did the creation story as a movie, it would start out and say, God spoke, let there be animals, and let there be earth, and the movie would be over in about 3 minutes. You couldn't even finish a handful of popcorn in that time.
And let there be barbecue.
Let alone a KFC.
Yeah.
Gotta have a KFC in there.
Oh, yeah, I fancy a KFC right now.
I guess what I hear in that is go back to the first question. First question, are the dinosaurs in the Bible? Well, people will make the Bible say there's dinosaurs there.
Yeah, I mean, Job 40 talks about the behemoth. It's interesting.
Interesting. So it's like, okay, so.
Not really. It's a hippo with a heart on.
And let's face it, we've all felt like that at one time or another.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
They keep pointing out that the hippo has a tiny little tail, and they can't be talking about its tiny little tail. And it's like, that's not the tail they were talking about. A hippo has another tail. And in one of the older versions of the Bible that I dug up, that, the wording was a lot more like, you're not looking at the right part. And it would be more in line with what I've said many times. Don't mess with the hippo, right? They will bite boats. I saw a hippo chasing people in a boat with an outboard motor, and it almost caught them. All right.
Yeah.
You don't mess with the hippo. Period.
And it can bite your boat in half.
So of course, people living in that area would write a story that says, "Don't mess with behemoth over there." Right? I mean, don't. It'll bite your boat. And there's depictions, and people are. It's one of the top bad things happen to people animals every year. Don't mess with them. So of course there would be a good reason to mention it. But what they get stuck on is the tail like a cedar, okay? But it doesn't actually say it has a tail the size of a cedar. What it says is it makes its tail stiff like a cedar. Well, there's only one part of your body I know of that you make stiff.
And
right?
It's a cedar.
As hard as a cedar.
And it's literally a cedar as well.
What is that whole story about?
A cedar, yeah.
Also, just to point this out, in Egyptian times, in the 1500s, 2000 BC, pharaohs used to show they were divine by hunting hippos. Just to point that out.
It's a thing that there's a line in there that it was never tamed by man. It's to show God's power, that he can make such a mighty beast that nobody's ever been able to tame it. And really, nobody's so far ever really tamed hippos. There's some in the zoos and stuff that behave a little bit. Tame. But if they have a bad day, I've seen them before having a bad day, and they charge you, and you get in a world of hurt when them things hit you.
Yeah, and they're very protective of their area. But I'm off to bed, guys. I'm on cold.
Yep. We're about done with these guys, anyways. Okay. It was a lot of fun listening to both of them. Yeah.
They started out reasonably sensible and ended up in.
Good night, Brainless.
I don't know. If anything, night Brainless. If anything, they de-evolved through this video.
I want to see if I can get through a few more minutes of it. Any of you guys want to drop out? Go ahead. I just wanted to play a few more minutes of this video. So
I'm good now. I'm here to the end now.
All right. Well, we'll play it then. Here we go.
Because I can't find, and this is the proverbial question: where do you find dinosaurs in the Bible? Well, I could say that Job, the Leviathan, the whatever that is that what it's referring to? Like, okay, so just because something isn't in the Bible, does that mean it doesn't exist?
Oh, definitely. Now. Oh, actually, now that's made me think a little bit.
Leviathan is a sea monster. It's not a dinosaur, but anyway. Oh, and the other one they'll point to that I looked up is dragons in the Bible. Dragons in the Bible aren't necessarily referring to a beast. Oftentimes it's referring to an area, like just a bad area to live in, or an area where something bad happened, or they thought it was just a evil area to live in, or whatever. And then a lot of it comes back to translations to a serpent. And then, of course, the serpent has its own meanings. So there's very little, when they try to push dragons or anything else from the Bible, the definitions actually go back to evil and to a serpent. And, of course, the serpent is often tied to evil as well. And serpents are not dinosaurs. So no matter how they come at it, I've done videos on this. That's why it's all in my head. It doesn't come back to mentioning any of these animals beyond maybe a hippo and an elephant, which they would have known about in the area.
Definitely not.
Right? So there's a lot of things that aren't in the Bible that exist.
Sure.
So I don't need to worry or think about and create another parallel explanation for something because I can't find it in the Bible.
Yeah, but you can have a little fun and think about this stuff.
I could, but I think are Christians the ones advocating for that thinking?
Oh, I know of a particular.
Absolutely. Hello, Deviant. How you doing? We're gonna see this one throughout to the end. So, not done just quite yet, but it does get late for some of our guests, so it's understandable if they're dropping out. But we're gonna check it out
to the end. I never made it to the end.
I'm in for it. It's not very long, so we're gonna hang out. So bear with us, Deviant, and thanks for stopping by. It's good to see you.
A Christian who is advocating for that thinking.
Yeah, now I'm asking the question. Like, it's Christians who are advocating for this working universe.
Yes.
I mean, is that a good hypothesis? Yeah. I mean, it's kind of interesting to think about.
You should think about it more.
I think it's terrible.
Think about it more. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
it's a good idea that God buried the bones in the ground for fertilizer. I never even heard of that one, so I think it's, I don't know, pretty bad.
Well, that's as bad as Cel Cordova saying God created chimpanzees so we could do medical experiments on them. That's why he made them 90. That's why he made them 99% identical to us, so we could. Yep. Thank you, God.
Only Sal.
Only Cel. We get to torture a chimp. Thank you, God.
Are you a particular
puppies.
Christian?
I'm the Christian who's advocating for this position.
I mean, is it?
I
I think it's a really.
I never heard of it before, so I would say, yeah, you're advocating for it. That's a new one on me, so we'll give you that. That's a new one.
Interesting
It
theory.
is interesting. But again, like I look at it and go, what
It's
drives?
hilarious. It's not
Yeah.
interesting.
What drives?
It's not interesting at all. It's really
It's
silly.
not interesting. That's the wrong word again. Mind you,
Yes.
like we said, these are low bar bill interesting kind of questions, right?
Yeah, because as I
It's
pointed out,
amazing what we find interesting, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
not amazing because, like, you've shown all the way through the video that you'll get interested if the fucking, I don't know, if that dinosaur decided to fall off the jar, you go, well, there you go. You see, that's God telling us.
I'll say, and even Ken Ham, and this is low bar, Ken Ham dismisses the idea that of this fooling us with the bones in the ground type thing. There's been ideas that it was to test your faith and different ideas like that. When Ken Ham says, no, that's a little bit silly, you need to check yourself. That's all I'm saying. Right?
Yeah.
Is that? So you're trying to make sense of your world.
Just trying to make sense of things.
That's a beautiful thing.
Just trying to make sense of things.
I can.
Not trying very hard, though. Just not trying very hard. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, God loves a trier. That's what they say, isn't it?
And if your little one says, maybe God put the dinosaurs in the ground for fertilizer because your little one was working with you in the garden, and you were doing fertilizer, and you're like, oh, that's nice. You're using your imagination. These are good things for a little one, right? Not a grown adult, right?
Yeah.
A little one, you say, good job, and you give them a treat because they were using their brain. They were putting two and two together, right or wrong. They're figuring these things out, right? They're sitting there saying, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Like, no.
If they put dragon's bones, if they put dinosaur bones in the ground for fertilizer, right? If God did that, why on earth did he put seashells at the top of fucking Mount Everest where nothing's gonna fucking grow? Nothing's growing up there. Don't need fertilizer. They're idiots.
I can advocate for and completely support trying to make sense of things and going, how does this fit together?
I think it's really interesting that we've never found an entire dinosaur skeleton. We found pieces.
I think that's right.
By the way, thank you, Simos, for that seashells on the top of Mount Everest. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Mike.
Yeah, I think if not complete, it was almost like 99% or something. But I do believe there's been complete skeletons.
They found complete skeletons all over the goddamn place.
What they often point out is a fossil only had, say, 20% of the bones, but then they found many other specimens with other parts of the bones, so they can say, okay, it had this bones and this bone. They can piece it together from other specimens.
Yeah, isn't Archaeopteryx a complete skeleton?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
There's a whole bunch of them. Whole bunch of them are complete.
Well, that Allosaurus or whatever they found was almost complete too. They're wrong. They're wrong.
I'm not surprised, by the way.
We found significant percentages. We've never found an entire skeleton. Yeah. Why is that? I just think there's
the other thing. Do you know the other thing we've never found? We've never found a completely right answer that these guys have said in this video.
Yeah, we haven't found that.
That's why we gotta hang in there.
There's about 100 dinosaur specimens that are complete. So.
Okay, there you go. Look it up, guys. Google, type it in, look it up, write it down on your notepad, and you'll at least do a little better in your video.
Interesting things about it.
And I'm not sure that you want to go there with this, but we can because it's real talk. And how much time?
Yeah,
who cares how much time we have?
We gotta keep it moving.
You know, the thought that I know some Christians think, dinosaurs are become extinct during the flood, right? And it's like, that's hard. I have to.
I have a problem with that.
I have a problem with that. Why?
Why?
Yeah. Is it because there was no global flood? A.
No.
Is it because B, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about? Or is it because C, they don't like Ken Ham? Yeah, multiple questions. Guess which the right answer is in the chat, please.
My problem with that is, why wouldn't God? He says to Adam or Noah,
every living creature that moves along the ground, and it says Noah did just as God commanded him. They had to have, if they lived, they had to have died after the flood.
Right. So is that a part of it, where the flood is what kills it? But that I don't know if that lines up with the biblical text, because they would be alive before the flood, and they would be a part of the collection that Noah would have to do.
Yeah, haven't you seen Ken Ham's boat with the dinosaurs on
it? Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so let me turn this one more. Let me turn this to why, because there's a reason it matters. Because science says that dinosaurs died out before human beings existed.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We're at a point of agreement. Okay.
Yep.
Science does say dinosaurs went extinct. Non-avian dinosaurs went extinct many millions of years before humans. Okay.
63 million years before. So
where are they going to blow it from here?
Before they existed.
Yes. A lot of science says human beings and dinosaurs didn't live at the same time, right?
So
dinosaurs died out before human beings exist.
That's just the law.
Can that be possible as it lines up with Scripture?
No.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
All the evidence aside, if it doesn't match up with Scripture, and this often comes back to when they cite various so-called experts that speak for these creationist organizations, they often work under a statement of faith. And these statements of faith are worded similarly. If you have anything in science or in history that bucks up against the Bible in any way, dismiss it.
Right.
Because the moment God creates, it's like, okay, so that's hard because what's the timing of Genesis 1, right? So you pose that question. It's like, okay, if it's a day literally, or is it a day figuratively?
Oh, you're giving yourself some wiggle room. Okay.
You are. Yeah.
Yeah.
As Christians, you can argue both sides of that. Like,
yeah, agreed.
A whole conversation about that.
Agreed.
So is it possible that animals were created before humans in the Genesis account? Yes. So is it possible? I guess from the Genesis account, depending on how you read the order and timing, they could exist before. But I don't know how science can prove that they existed before humans.
Well, I'll tell you. There's a lot of ways. Let me count the ways.
Give us a way, Mike, that we know that dinosaurs and man are separated by about 60 million years.
Yeah, that would be the layers, the geological layers that we find them in. We never find humans with, dinosaurs. So sorry, guys. That's one way. It's the best way.
And pointed out the other day, what would defeat evolution would be finding the argument is, I don't remember who said it, but finding a rabbit in the Cambrian layer. The person the other day, said finding a tooth pre-Cambrian would disrupt everything. You never find teeth pre-Cambrian. So if you want to find one, then start digging.
And don't you think if there were herds of Brontosaurus and Tyrannosaurus running around, the Egyptians or somebody would have wrote something about them, like a story, like a description, like they would have been common knowledge, like, you know, this village got
Polo.
eaten.
Yeah, Marco Polo will come up that the Chinese emperors had these dragons pulling their carts around or something. Of course, you know, Marco Polo was also, you know, reciting from prison, and you know, I mean, keep the person interested in coming back day after day, maybe, you know, bringing you some snacks or something, you know, making the stay a little easier. Yeah, and there was dragons. Don't go away. There was dragons.
Fire breathing dragons.
It's probably more to do with selling his memoirs when he got back.
All that, yeah. It was all it was all kind of shady how he told or sold the story, I should say. But you know, makes a great story, right? And you know, could they have had some Komodo dragons or crocodiles or something hitched up to a cart? It wouldn't be beyond the realm of possibility. I mean, you know, the rich people like having tigers and everything, you know what I mean? Exotic pets and everything. The Egyptians,
tried to tame a lizard. Have you tried to tame a lizard?
Well, I didn't say they were successful, but you know, the Romans, the Egyptians, a lot of them were fascinated with all these different kind of animals, right? So, but yeah, a big lizard is not a brontosaurus or a tyrannosaurus, and I mean, somebody would have mentioned something that's basically a giant head, like an Allosaurus or a Tyrannosaurus. It's one giant head for chomping things. I think, somebody would have noticed that.
And they would find their teeth and artifacts and their claws. I mean, we would have done all kinds of stuff if we had coexisted with them. And it just makes so little sense to even consider that.
Not even in the Congo for the Hovind fans that still believe that they're in the lost world thing or something. No, they're all gone. They're all gone. But we still have birds. So there you go.
Is it possible that humans were over here and dinosaurs were over here?
Yes, I could give you that. Here's my problem with the
dinosaurs were over there and humans were over. They put up a fence. Okay.
The level of stupidity is just it's stupendous.
Build that wall.
Yeah, but it's a massive fence, and yet they can't find it to sit on it.
Yep, it's a wall they built.
Jack just had a dinosaur. I just ate a bird. How you doing, Jack?
Yeah, right.
Nice, Jack. Nice.
Theory that dinosaurs died out before human beings existed is that before sin, there's no death.
Yep.
So
they couldn't die.
They can't die
that's
before.
The reason. That's the reason. Oh, there's no death. Of course. Humans live forever. Oh, dear. Adam was 900 years when he died. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, because all fossils are from the flood and the fall and all that stuff. Before that, there was no death. Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, of course. I feel so stupid now. I do.
I know.
Been a long time since Sunday school, Simons, you know.
I don't know. I don't know what I was doing on Sundays. I guess I was recovering from school on five of the other days.
Yeah.
Sin. So if you say that, then the fall doesn't really happen. And if the fall doesn't really happen, we don't need Jesus.
There you go.
See?
I predicted it.
Uh-oh.
I am a prophet. See?
Yep.
He says.
It all falls apart. Yep.
Yeah. Dinosaurs could not exist because that one fell off.
Evolution, dinosaurs, and Jesus. I told you I was getting there.
That's all you wanted to get to?
No, I just think that's really interesting.
So yes, that from the text we would
the
know
wages
that.
of sin is death. Mm-hmm. There is no death before sin. So you don't need Jesus if there's no death. There's no sin.
But all.
See?
Is that some kind of logic that I missed there?
You don't need Jesus because there's no sin, because people had to sin. Animals can't sin. I guess the dinosaurs couldn't sin, so that's why they didn't die.
Bloody women.
Yeah, then you got the fruit tree and messes everything all up.
Yeah.
All of these things are like all of it, right? So it's like
all of it.
When did not the theory of death and sin? It's clear biblical teaching. But when did dinosaurs exist on Earth?
Yes.
And how did they become extinct? All of it's hypothesis, isn't it? I mean, there's no, right? So it's like we're all left to conjecture.
Yes.
What we can know for sure is, did God create dinosaurs? Yes.
Maybe.
Maybe.
If they existed, God created them.
But they may never. Do they exist just as bones?
Does fertilizer exist?
Interesting.
You didn't know we could talk about this for so long, did you? And what's the takeaway? You know what, Pastor Joe?
Okay, so
I think the takeaway is KFC. Clearly,
they're back stuck to the dinosaurs. Bones were just put in the ground because. Okay, and now they're going to wrap it up. I hope you're ready for the big wrap up.
Why don't you tell the people the takeaway here?
Wow, I am befuddled. The takeaway is befuddled.
Have some nuts. And thanks for hanging out with us. See you next time on The Real Talk.
We confuse you more than we help you. Welcome to Faith Church.
All right, we got through it.
Oh my God, we got through two of them. Record.
It wasn't, and like I said, I've got this other one about evolution, and you'll enjoy that one as well, but we can just do that on another Saturday because it's a longer video, so.
Yeah, I got to get out of here.
But I had it just in case. Yeah, well, I figured, we would be lucky to get through the first one, and we got through the second one, so we're getting a lot more efficient here at Saturday Night at the Atheist, I must say.
Yep.
That's true.
Yeah, and
we rock. We rock.
I
think we're just becoming numb, actually. Truth be told.
I think so.
We're just getting a bit numb. So instead of stopping it every 3 seconds, we now stop it every 6 seconds.
And,
they were clearly just, what do they say? An idiot and his friend? I don't know.
Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber. Clearly. Yeah. And it's amazing how, like, the first guy, right, had just read this book, trying to be as scientific as possible, and just found this book, which was just more pseudoscience than you could throw a stick at. But at least it pretended to be scientific, right? Because it was appealing to, it was an appeal to authority. And that was all very well. But these guys they don't even have that. They're just going straight for the big, like I said, the big appeal to authority. It's written in the Bible. What's written in the Bible, that's what's true. Let's talk about other things that people have been telling us that we don't understand.
And it's not interesting the bones buried in the ground thing. That was
classic.
It was the silliest thing I ever heard.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think they were trying to do a show like you remember was it Answers in Genesis that had that supposed high school students, the guy and the girl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what the hell was the name of that series? I don't know. Anyway. They kind of had that same vibe going, trying to like the joking back and forth.
I appreciate the laughing and everything, the jokes about him eating all the peanuts and everything.
I don't know why. I got tired of the nuts. I got really tired of the nuts.
Yeah, I did trim off the beginning where he had the big pile of nuts on the table. The shells. I mean, he was cleaning it up. Yeah.
Yep.
Of course, we need to remind folks, in case you've forgotten, the ARC protest is coming up.
Yeah,
and
I'm not going to make it.
Joe at the Kentucky Atheist is working on that with a lot of other folks, and we support the ARC Encounter protests. Of course, we do, and we'd like to run the ad. So, folks, if you haven't seen it, you're going to see it now. So check your headphones.
I got to leave, Dave. Dave, right. I got to bail. Okay.
All right, Mike.
Yep.
See you later, Mike.
Check check your headphones. Here we go.
Rationality of power.
Oops. Yeah, we don't need you on there. All right, stop. All right.
Okay. Are you ready for the...
That's something else in my queue there. We might be covering that as well.
You ready for a new chant there?
Yep.
Okay, here he goes. Hark, confess, the ark protest.
There we go. And that is coming up very quickly, July
6th? About a month away.
Yep, 4th. Yep,
Just
July
under 4
6th.
weeks, roughly 4 weeks away.
Yep, coming up quick. Yeah, just about exactly a month away. Okay, so a lot of folks are going. A lot of ways to support. Make sure you check out Kentucky Atheist for all the info. Link is in the description. So is the link for his affiliate where you can get a discount. We also have links for Bree in the chat and her merch. If you need a new t-shirt, make sure you get over to Bree's HiveSci, get yourself a cryptid t-shirt. She's also got a new tank top out, and I think she's got a Pride shirt out. You need a new t-shirt, you might as well get one from Bree, right? And also check out other links in the description. Answers in Atheism, of course. Brainless. We'll pop Topdawg down in there. And Simos. Of course, Simos is... well, Simos, you go ahead. Tell them
oh, yeah. Okay, well, Thursday night's the next foray into bullshittery. And we will be talking on the state of the onion. And the onion this week will be something theological, probably. I have no idea yet because I need to get my brains together. I've had a stressful week, so I'll get my brains together on Sunday and try and start thinking about a topic. If you have a topic that you think might be interesting for a 2-hour discussion, please go to the comment sections in any of the in the last State of the Onion on my channel, and just write it in there, and we will give you a full shout out and credit for coming up with the topic, of course. If you can think of any good topics that you might like to listen to a discussion about or take part in. It's an open panel, so normally there is a link in the chat for those that wish to join. So yeah, that's on my channel, Simos Funk, at Simos Funk, all one word. Please go and sub, and then you'll get links to it. It's called the State of the Onion.
And we've had some great discussions over there. If you enjoy some really great discussions, it's the place to be on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern. And we were also joined with Topdawg tonight. Thanks for stopping by, Topdawg. Appreciate you stopping through. And
I think you know what? I think it was this gentleman here that was responsible for putting seashells at the top of mountains.
Absolutely, it's always the demons. If we've learned anything, we've learned it's always the demons. It really is. And
though he's got a good sense of humor. I'll give him that.
Yeah, indeed. And I want to, thank everybody for being here tonight. As always, we have a great time. I had a great time. I hope everybody had a great time. Lots of folks stopping through this evening. Always great to see everybody. I hope you have the rest of your evening or morning or whatever time of day it may be for you. And look for Simos on Thursday. Look for me during the week doing the night watch. And when with hanging out with Mike, you never know when we're going to do a stream, right? Mike sends a message, let's do a stream, and we're doing a stream. So make sure you're subscribed at Mike at Answers in Atheism as well, so you get notified when he decides to do a stream, which you never know when it's going to be. But don't forget, Monday at 1 p.m., he is doing a stream. He's going to do a talk with a, what did he say they were? A precept or something?
Mike no, it was a street epistemologist.
Okay,
Anthony Magnabosco, who is a very nice guy, and he will be questioning Mike on evolution. The guy isn't a theist, as far as I'm aware. I don't know what he describes himself as, so I won't say he's an atheist, but he's a street epistemologist, and he will be throwing questions towards Mike to get Mike to show where the proof of evolution is. So that'll be interesting.
There you go. And that's 1 p.m. Central Time, Monday afternoon. So go over to Answers in Atheism. Hope to see y'all over there. And I think that covers all the business. Topdawg, you got anything going on? Anything new coming out?
Oh, he's not there.
Topdawg dropped out? Okay.
Yep.
I will add Topdawg's links to the description as soon as I'm done here. Topdawg puts out videos as well on different platforms, so I will get that put in there. Thanks to Topdawg for stopping by. Topdawg isn't always free on the weekends, and been a couple of times now that Topdawg's joined us, and it's always good to have somebody when they can that says, "Hey, I've got the time. How about getting me a link?" And I say, "Sure, come on, stop by." Right? And somebody's got their motorcycle out. All right. And with that, I'll hit the. Let me try that again. With that, I'm going to hit the outro, and I will see you all later.
Tales of lore knocking at the captive dash's door. Legends live within these walls, silent echoes in the halls, books and stories on the floor, knocking at the captive dash's door. Captive desk, hold our dreams, where reality and no myth seems. In conversations quiet flow, the mysteries untold will know. Legends live within these walls, silent echoes in the halls, books and stories on the floor, knocking at the captive dash's door.